Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we discuss all the latest in pop culture and gaming news and TV and movie reviews and just talk about everything that's going on in the world. Uh, as usual, I have some fine gentlemen here joining me tonight. I'm your host, Price of Reason, and with me also are my co hosts, Professor R2 and the real Sean Crummell. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Doing well. Price he had remembered his own name, so we're off to
I,
a good start.
I thought he forgot too.
Right. I think that I never even say what my name is. You know why I did it? Because I think once I had a comment, and then I think that's a lady wrote in a comment, and she didn't know my name because I guess she watches the stream on Rumble, and she didn't know my name. I guess she ran into the stream and she was watching it, and then she wrote something like Mr. Toad King. And she kept calling me Mr. Toad King in the comment, and I'm like, she must not know my name. So since then, I've decided, like, from time to time, I'll just say what my name is, so maybe people will remember. I don't have any problem with the Toad King; it's fine, but I don't really think that it looked more like a Squid King.
Oh.
But it's okay. And I see Marla Sharandoff is here. She's a friend of the channel. She wrote, I got catfished by someone claiming to be Johnny Depp's daughter. Well, that happens sometimes. If you look at my spam on Twitter, there's a lot of Asian women who have sisters that are very interested in me, according to those spam messages. And they all have a very similar spiel. You know what I mean? They're all there's something about a sister that's very interested, and I'm not quite sure what the angle is. What am I supposed to do? Say, oh yes, I'd love to meet your sister. What do they expect me to do? What's the angle?
I as a parent, you have to give your kids advice, and so I often tell my son, sometimes you're gonna get catfished by someone pretending to be Johnny Depp's daughter. So just be prepared. It happens.
We've all been there. We've all been there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could happen to anybody. I've had, certain catfishes, but I never believed them. I probably had real people do something that I thought it was fake.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna miss out on, like, Elon Musk is gonna come to me and offer me like $500,000 or something. I'm gonna miss out on it completely because I don't trust anything on the internet.
If you give your information, he'll give you a Bitcoin.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I always find it
scan that tag on YouTube when they're launching a rocket. Yeah,
it's always so interesting that he always singles me out personally.
Yeah,
he really wants you to succeed, John. But I guess, listen, the way these things work, these scams work, is they do like 1 million of them. It's a numbers game. They do 1 million.
Oh, absolutely.
It's enough that they find five suckers out of those million and do something with the suckers that they found. And it's a good deal for them. They know that most people will know that it's dumb. It's the same thing like you used to have the Nigerian prince.
Oh yeah, I mean, you still have tons of, I do teach some information systems security, and we talk about this. It's like, wait, who's going to fall for a phishing scam, right? Because they're all so poorly written and they look terrible, and you can find them real quick. And like I said, the reality is it's not that you're not going to fall for it. They're going to send that to 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And the cost to them is almost non-existent. And so if only one person out of 100,000 people falls for it, they win.
Usually someone's grandmother.
Yeah. So it's just a numbers game.
I once had a Nigerian prince con me in real life.
Did he have an outfit? Did he have
it's a true story. It's a true story. I'll just say that, and we can get going. This is probably 20 years ago or 15 years ago or something like that. I was at a party. I think it was on a boat. It was something in New York City. They used to have stuff like that. I don't even know if they do that anymore. But in any case, what happened was
still have boats, I'm pretty sure.
No, they have them, but I don't know if it's as popular, these kind of nighttime parties or late night parties on a boat. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that I personally don't really go to them these days, so I don't know. But in any case, I knew a guy who was sort of a promoter, and he invited me to come to this thing. And he introduced me to a guy, and the guy told me that he was a Nigerian prince. And I immediately started thinking to myself, usually when I get that in an email form, I think it's spam. Like, how could this guy be a Nigerian prince? But the other guy that was sort of introduced me to him, that I had a little bit of a rapport with, I kind of trusted him. And then I'm on this boat, and I noticed that that day I only had $20 on me, and I forgot my credit card. So I have $20, and that's my $20 to get home. It's like in the middle of the night of New York. So basically, this Nigerian prince guy walks up to me and he goes, "Listen, it's an emergency. Can you give me $20 or something like that? Do you have any money?" I've said, like, "Listen, I have 20. It's for myself." He's like, "I'm going to give it right back to you. Just give me for a second." And the other guy vouched for him. And like, I hesitated, but I'm like, you know what? Everybody spoke so highly of this guy. So I gave the Nigerian prince a $20 bill, which is all I had because I didn't have the credit card. I only had the $20 bill, and he vanished. He vanished with my $20, and I was stuck in New York City. I had to walk like 70 blocks home or something. That's a true story. That really
How
happened.
does a prince not have $20?
You know, those were good questions, and questions that I asked myself as I was walking those 70 blocks home.
What
But,
does God need with a starship?
It was so mean because I think I also told him, I said, "Listen, I really, it's not like there were so many people at this party that he could have tried to take like probably such big scores from. I was just, I didn't even want to go to that stupid boat. I just came because the other guy convinced me, and I was already thinking to myself, well, I better take this 20 and get home. You know what I mean? Could have maybe at the time, maybe it would have been okay for a taxi. So, yeah, it really. But you learn from everything. You learn from everything. And now if I'm at a party and somebody says I'm a Nigerian prince, not getting a penny out of me.
Now you throw water in his face and run.
But speaking of Nigerian princes, Joe Biden. That's a good segue.
That is the segue to end all segues.
That is the segue to end all segues. So basically, I guess now there's a new thing. I don't know if you guys saw this.
The new
So
thing?
Biden is considering preemptive pardons for officials that Trump might target. This is, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, starting to become a bit fishy here.
Starting?
I mean,
there's going to be, yeah.
I mean, can you even do that? Is it something you can say like, hey, like, this is already starting to become a bit weird because
it's like, I'm not saying they killed people and buried the bodies, but just in case you're going to try and accuse them of it, I've already forgiven them for it.
I mean, yeah.
Is there such a thing? Can you give a preemptive pardon? Can you just say, listen, I'm afraid that this next president is going to go and look into this matter and I don't want him to. So now I'm going to pardon these people. That is really like even the thing with his son was already out there, but this is already sort of another level.
It just sounds like an admission of guilt.
And you know what it reminds me? I don't know why I keep coming back to this. There was a moment in the campaign where J.D. Vance, I'm trying to see if I can find that thing, where J.D. Vance said something. He was interviewed about that laptop, and he said something about it, and all the mainstream media then tried to sweep it under the carpet and tried to like spin what he said. And now when I see everything that's happening, I think that whatever he was saying feels even more relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find this.
Yeah, the whole idea of preemptive pardons, I think, would face some serious backlash. I think some people would be looking for the Supreme Court to jump in and have some feedback on that, because the idea of the pardon is that you are saying, okay, they've been prosecuted, they've been charged, they've been sentenced. I am going to pardon their crime. To say, oh, I'm just going to say, well, you know what? I'm going to pardon your crime, even though we haven't actually charged you with a crime yet, and everything. And here's the other thing too: just because the crime that he might be pardoned, they can actually still charge them, drag them through court, find them guilty, all that. So they can go through that whole process, forcing them to spend tons of money on lawyers and everything. The only thing that's commuted is the sentence.
Well, I've heard that you could still prosecute at like a state level for different things.
Yes, yeah, he cannot pardon things at the state level. He can only pardon things at the federal level. So, the question of legality is definitely out there. I think that would be, I mean, not that what he already did with his pardon wasn't an abuse of power. I feel it was.
The thing
I don't have
is
a
that
problem with him pardoning. Honestly, if he had just pardoned his son, saying, "I'm pardoning him from this particular court case, and the going to jail or whatever for this court case,"
right, it's the fact that he went back 10 years. That's
that
the
is the
part that
part.
was
Yes, that's the part that is deeply disturbing. Not that he's gonna. If he were to pardon his son for whatever, people would argue about it. People would complain about it, but I don't think too many people would get that upset over him saying, "No, my son went through this. He's been convicted, whatever, and I'm going to pardon him from having to serve jail time." I think people would probably be okay with that for the most part, other than the fact that he said repeatedly that he wasn't going to do that. But yes, it's the going back 10 years. And I'm just going to say, well, you know what? You're pardoned from anything you might have done for this 10, 11 years.
Yeah, until I'm a dummy when it comes to all of this, but just hearing that makes me sound like he's guilty of something horrendous, and they're just trying to sweep that under the rug so that he can never be convicted of it. Like, it just sounds to my dumb ears like you're trying to cover up for a crime. You're just admitting guilt for doing it this way.
Okay, so I wanted to show you this. The New York Times did an interview with J.D. Vance during the campaign, and immediately afterwards they released this very juicy headline. Vance refuses to acknowledge that Trump lost the 2020 election. Now, the reason they did this and all of the other mainstream media kind of follow suit is because he mentioned, and I think this was very smart of him, he actually mentioned the laptop, the Hunter Biden laptop story, and how that affected the election, and there was election interference by hiding it, and they did this whole spin just to shut him up. So they said he refused to acknowledge that Trump lost the election, and then you saw all these kind of Lester Holtz and you kind of all these mainstream medias, Saturday Night Live, they all went and parroted the same thing over and over again. He refuses to answer questions. Now I want to show you what he said, and when I think about what he said and what they said he refused, I feel like it's even more powerful now than it was then. Tell me if you can. Let me see. Tell me if I'm going to try to share this thing. Tell me if you can see the video and hear it.
In the debate, you were asked to clarify if you believe
Yeah, little loud.
2020 election. Do you believe he lost the 2020 election?
I think that Donald Trump and I have both raised a number of issues with the 2020 election, but we're focused on the future. I think there's an obsession here with focusing on 2020. I'm much more worried about what happened after 2020, which is a wide open border, groceries that are unaffordable. And look,
Senator,
Lulu,
yes or no?
okay,
Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
let me ask you a question. Is it okay that big technology companies censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, which independent analysis have said it cost Donald Trump millions of votes?
Senator Vance, I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Did big technology companies censor a story that independent studies have suggested would have cost Trump millions of votes?
Senator
That's the
Vance,
question.
I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020
And I've answered
election?
your question with another question. You answer my question and I'll answer yours.
I have asked this question repeatedly. It is something that is very important for the American people to know. There is no proof, legal or otherwise, that Donald Trump did not lose the 2020 election.
You're repeating a slogan rather than engaging with what I'm saying, which is that when our own technology firms engage in industrial scale censorship, by the way, backed up by the federal government, in a way that independent studies suggest affect the votes, I'm worried about Americans who feel like there were problems in 2020. I'm not worried about this slogan that people throw. Well, every court case went this way. I'm talking about something very discrete, a problem of censorship in this country that I do think affected things in 2020, and more importantly, that led to Kamala Harris's governance, which has screwed this country up in a big way.
Senator, would you have certified the election in 2020? Yes or no?
I've said that I would have voted against certification because of the concern that I just raised. I think that when you have technology companies—
The answer is no.
When you have technology companies censoring Americans at a mass scale in a way that, again, independent studies have suggested affect the vote, I think that it's right to protest against that, to criticize that, and that's a totally reasonable thing.
So the answer is no. And the last question, will you support the election results this time and commit to a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, first of all, of course, we commit to a peaceful transfer of power. We are going to have a peaceful transfer of power. I, of course, believe that peaceful transfer of power is going to make Donald Trump the next president of the United States. But if there are problems, of course, in the same way that Democrats protested in 2004 and Donald Trump raised issues in 2020, we're going to make sure that this election counts, that every legal ballot is counted. We've filed almost 100 lawsuits at the RNC to try to ensure that every legal ballot has counted. I think you would maybe criticize that. We see that as an important effort to ensure election integrity, but certainly we're going to respect the results in 2024, and I feel very confident they're going to make Donald Trump the next president.
She owns a lot of cats. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and the thing is that they keep making light of what he was saying with the laptop, and I think that the laptop now, when you see what he did with the pardon and how he did that thing with Ukraine in 2014, it really is not a good look. I mean, I think that even when I saw this initially, I thought this lady was very annoying, but I think that after knowing what we know now and what we've seen now, I think this makes her look even worse. And along with all those mainstream media people that were sort of throwing Vance under the bus, he was saying something that I think had value. And, another thing that she's like, oh, the peaceful transition, the transition of power and all that. From the second that Donald Trump's been elected, all I see is that Biden almost seems to be throwing monkey wrenches into his plans, meaning there's so many things going on that seem like they're the opposite of what Trump wants to do, as if everybody just wants to do this immediately before he arrives, not because it's good for Americans, not because it's good for anybody, because perhaps it'll make him look bad.
Sure.
Yep.
I mean, we had the thing, first of all, like I told you, he came, he's like, there's talk about him, wanting to have a reserve of Bitcoin or stuff like that. The U.S. actually have, because of some Silk Road, some confiscation, I don't know, they have in their possession a lot of Bitcoin. And from what I understand, and I could be wrong, they're now just like selling it because they're just like, let's quickly sell it before he arrives. It's like, why are you doing this? That's just a middle finger. That's just trying to screw with his policies before he arrives. Same thing with the Russia thing, that with the missiles or whatever that was. A lot of strange things. It's like they're insisting on just doing annoying things now that don't help anybody. That certainly don't help Americans, in my opinion.
In my personal view, that's all they did when he was president the first time. Like the first time he was president, I didn't really like him, but I was like, well, you come back the next time with a better candidate to give him a run for his money. And then they spent like 4 years doing nothing but trying to impeach him. And I was like, you guys have really lost the focus.
I tend to agree with you. I think that over time, the more they actually did everything to get rid of him, even people that maybe may not have been as big as fans started becoming aware of how fanatic and obsessed they are with every single thing. And I always say this, once you're in politics and you're on those levels of politics, there's a lot of slippery dealings. You can't get into those kind of positions without like different things going on. It's a system which I think that throughout history, you can see that there's always some level of corruption and different things like that. I think that what bothered me the most is that there's one party, which is the Democrats, that really wants to present themselves as though they're so moral and so just and so righteous, and they're always like taking the high road supposedly and doing everything great, and they're always above board, and anybody else is not. Anybody else are the worst. You need to impeach them 70 times and all this weird Russia stuff that to date nobody's ever proven, all this nonsense that they were chasing him for years. Then he wasn't there and they saw he was running. They had 70 court cases against him, which some of them were just flimsy things that shouldn't have, borderline frivolous, if not just frivolous things, should have never even seen the light of day. And then at the end, this guy is just like pardoning all his friends, his son, I don't know what. It's just, it's such a bad look, and it shows, in my opinion, the ultimate hypocrisy. I prefer to deal with people, even if they're not perfect or even if they're just whatever. I prefer to deal with them if at least they're a little more honest. This idea that you're the best and everything you do is perfect, and then it's really the opposite. That really annoys me.
Hmm.
I guess I don't like
it's-
hypocrisy. I
Yeah,
don't know. Sorry, go on.
No, yeah, the hypocrisy is it's infuriating that you watch and they're like, they talk out of one side of their mouth saying something, and then they're like, well, but we'll do something. We'll do that for ourselves. It's not okay if you do it, but it's okay if we do it. It's just like if you go and look at some of the coverage. I've seen some comparisons of some of the coverage of some of the pardons that were granted by Trump on his way out of office during his first term, and then the coverage of these pardons now that Biden is considering or has already granted. And it's hilarious. It's like, oh, one of them is like, this is a travesty, and it's a, just destruction of democracy, and we're, that he would let these people off, and blah 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 blah. And then they're like talking about Biden and his pardon, and they're like, well, it was a deeply troubling decision, but one that a father had to make, and he's also needs to protect his party from the the vicious Trump and all this. And it's like, oh my God, like, can you be more two-faced, right? Can you have more of a double standard? It's everywhere, and it's infuriating.
One thing, and I'll say this, and for good and for bad, and I think that the three of us, and this is my impression, are more middle of the road type of guys. I don't think that we've ever been like so I don't know how enthusiastic we are about politicians in general. I can say that about myself.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. When Trump goes and talks and says something, he's like, I want to get all those immigrants that are trying to cross the border. I want them out of here. They'll be huge, or whatever it is he says. And he says whatever he wants, and he just says it. And really, I think he's saying what he means. Now, you may like what he said, you may not like what he said, but he says what it is that he just thought in his mind, and he's saying it. The thing with the Democrats are like, no, like, we can't believe you saying that. We're so great. We're like always like, our conscience is clear. We're always like doing things so moral and so whatever. And the fact that they're not makes them more annoying. You know what I mean? I can deal with a person that at least says what he thinks. You may like it, you may not like it, but at least it's what he wants to do, and he's saying it. The other people that are pretending and they don't mean anything and they end up being the biggest hypocrites, that somehow annoys me more.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's just the way I am. I'd prefer somebody just sitting and telling to my face whatever it is than that other thing. And that hypocrisy, it's not exclusive only to their politics. It's also stuff that affected us, like with all the pop culture stuff that all the sorry, and I know I don't love using the word, but there's really at this point in time no other way to say it, but all kind of their woke ideology, all that kind of cancel culture and all those type of things. It's like, again, they're the moral high ground always. They're the best. And if you don't fall into line, if you say something you don't like, they have to cancel you. In the name of inclusion, you get excluded. And it feels like the same kind of hypocrisy, meaning it's like this hypocrisy that they have, it's not exclusive to one to one branch, if that makes sense.
No, it's the whole mindset. My mom was asking me the other day, she's like, do you follow politics? I was like, no, but I have opinions. And she's like, why is that? And I was like, I've just paid attention to entertainment, and I've just naturally come across all this stuff. So I have very strong opinions about the hypocrisy and everything you were just mentioning.
I think another thing is, it used to be that the left was more kind of the middle finger to the establishment. I know it doesn't look like that now, but back in the days, Vietnam, hippies, things like that, the left was like that was like a middle finger to the system. And somehow, I don't know, I don't know if it's like that thing whether you live long enough to be the hero, you become the villain, or whatever it is, but they ended up being the exact opposite. It's such a weird a shift that I think that if you would have told me that like 20 years ago, I wouldn't have believed it. But today, they are the establishment. They are the exact things that supposedly they used to hate. They embody every single thing that they claimed they didn't like. Meanwhile, somehow, and I don't even know how this is possible, more right-wing people, more like conservatives, they're the ones that are kind of like more anti-establishment, more more cool somehow. Meaning today, you're cooler. It almost goes against any kind of logic, but the truth is that they're like, oh, we like it when there's just women here and they look good, and oh, like we like families and women, and suddenly that's very relaxing. Those are relaxing thoughts, like to have.
Well, even the average person, like maybe us, they went so nuts that they pushed everyone, or they moved the line so far that it's like even the average middle of the road person seems like they're on the right now, and it's like, no, we just like common sense.
And I will say, and this is one thing that I saw during the campaign, that I thought Trump did some smart things. The fact that he brought into the fold Robert F. Kennedy, the fact that he brought in Tulsi Gabbard, that
Oh
was a
yeah.
sign he really understood what was going on. The disconnect with a lot of people that saw themselves as left. Suddenly, he's bringing some people that are more moderate into his camp, and he created this situation where suddenly it looks like there's a whole lot of people that are sane, all kind of doing something together, whereas there's another more kind of marginal group now that are insane and very hypocritical. And I don't know. I mean, those were some good moves, I think.
Well, they were running, or not running, but they were saying stuff like we need to do something about the, what is it, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and I was like, you could not pick a more opposite thing to talk about to my way of thinking. Like, you're talking about censoring speech, and that immediately clicks 1984 in my brain, and I'm like, and this is what you're campaigning on? Like, get the f out of here.
Right.
Oh,
And then
I do
some.
have to, real quick, because I censored my speech just now. I listened to your last episode, and you guys still apologized to me, and it made me laugh out loud.
You still get apologies even if you're
And
not
then
here.
someone
But
someone did it in the chat when we first started too, and it made me laugh.
so
Yeah.
Sorry, go
that
ahead.
was funny. That was actually funny. I didn't know if you heard. I figured you wouldn't even hear it. But Senpai 76 says RFK was all because his own party fruit him. So yeah, really, that was the stupidest thing that they did with RFK. He wanted to run. He wanted to run as a, as a. I mean, everything they did there was crooked, because really, they said that he would, Joe Biden won the primary. He's the candidate, whatever it is. But then they didn't want him, and they didn't actually do
Yeah.
primaries. So they never really gave RFK a chance. Maybe if he actually could run, and somebody could decide if they want him for was he in any kind of primary, or did he do anything, or no? I can't remember.
He wanted to, but I don't believe they actually allowed him to run in the primaries at all.
Certainly after,
So
listen, certainly after they removed Biden, if they were fair, they would have given at least some kind of primary. I think that by not doing that, they upset, in my opinion, not only RFK, but I think that probably Tulsi Gabbard probably also didn't love that, because Tulsi Gabbard, when she was debating Kamala initially, like, she mopped the floor with her. So now they didn't even give
Mhm.
her a chance. And the same with RFK. In addition, they then went to all these states. They went to New York to claim that he couldn't be a candidate there, and they started fighting with all these states to remove him from the ballot. And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back, because after that, he's like, you know what? I want to work with Trump, and I don't know. I mean, how stupid could you be? Like, what did they even gain? It wouldn't have made a difference if they would have let him just run and do those few states that they tried to remove him. Wouldn't have made a difference. I don't know how much it would have made a difference. I think Kamala probably would have lost anyways, but they certainly didn't do themselves any favor with the way they handled RFK and Tulsi.
well, and it's the same thing they did with, or more or less the same thing that happened with Bernie when he was running against Hillary. She was going to be immaculated into that role. They did not want a real primary. They did not want him to have any sort of power, any sort of delegates assigned to him or whatever. So they just decided, the party of democracy, right? Decided, no, we're just gonna ignore. We'll just put Hillary in. Just forget those
Yeah.
people who want Bernie. He doesn't have a seat at the table. Forget him. Right? It's maddening.
Istophobos is saying that was chilling, especially when a Supreme Court justice says that the First Amendment is making it difficult to govern. Price of Reason
Yes.
Live.
Yes.
Just maddening. Yeah.
By the way, Senpai 76, I think there's something, and I could be wrong, in Japanese culture that there's the kohai and the senpai, which would mean the kohai is sort of like if it were in Jedi terms, he would be the Jedi Master, and the senpai would be the Padawan.
Mhm.
I could be wrong.
No, senpai is the senior.
Oh, okay.
That's- yeah.
Kohai. Sorry, is Kohai the Padawan?
Yes.
Sorry, Senpai. I apologize.
Yep.
So, yeah. Thanks for correcting me on that.
Yeah.
I was close, though. At least I knew something.
Yeah. You had the right idea. That's the
I had the right idea. I did switch them around.
They can be the sort of the tutor, while the other one is the student.
Right.
The
No, so
teacher
now
or
he's
the
correct.
student.
Senpai is the upperclassman.
Upperclassman. Yeah, the
See,
one above. Yeah.
I almost had a chance to show that I was knowledgeable in something, but I blew it.
You were close. You were
I
real
was close enough. But
you were real close. A lot more than most Americans would know about Japanese culture. So.
Right. I mean, I admit that I mixed them up. I do know, though, that it's important to let people save face in Japanese culture.
Yes.
That's a thing.
And I've been told if I ever visit Japan, the first thing you don't do, especially since if someone from the South or the Midwest, we just love to talk to everybody. We love to talk to strangers and ask them what's going on. You do just don't talk to strangers in Japan. Like, you're gonna freak them out. They
don't like it.
No.
It's so strange. They have such a different approach and mentality. It's just so different. I find it kind of fascinating. I mean, you saw that show Shogun, based on the book, of course. But what I'm saying is that even though that book is old, there are things in that book about Japanese culture that are probably still there until this day.
Yeah, their culture is very much steeped in a lot of history and a lot of, So I wouldn't say so much not like when I say ritual, I don't necessarily mean religious ritual, just kind of like how you do things day to day. You do it the same way all the time, and their family structures and how you care for the elderly and all that. Like these are all very very based in history, the way their culture is. So yeah.
And they're very big on their black samurais.
Especially gay black samurais.
I was gonna add that, but I just let it go.
So I thought that was interesting, the thing with Vance that kind of became more relevant now. And even then, I was annoyed with how they were presenting it, because it's very easy to say that he refuses to acknowledge 2020, but I think he was trying to make a different point here, and they wouldn't let him make it. And the part that I really felt was the most disingenuous is some of these mainstream media news. I think it included maybe even like Lester Holt. When they showed that this happened, they didn't show him talking about the laptop. They only said showed the lady, will you answer the question? I want you to answer my question. And they wouldn't even, in those news, they wanted to still bury the Hunter Biden thing. So they're trying to frame this as though he's not answering the question. And these same mainstream media outlets refuse to actually show the full statement of what he said. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. And that to me just felt like even more, more shady. It's like, how can it be that an entire system, an entire mainstream media, all these tech companies, all whatever, they've been covering for this thing for so many years?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, I guess moving forward, do you think he's really? What are the names of the people they're thinking? They're saying General Mark Milley, Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, and Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, those are the same names I had been hearing. Yeah, Adam Schiff and Fauci and Liz
to
Cheney.
Be prosecuted or to be forgiven, pardoned rather.
They would be preemptive pardons.
I've never heard of anything like this.
I don't even know that would stand in Supreme Court. I think that, and if they were granted, I think someone would take it all the way to the Supreme Court, because I'm just gonna blanket. What if a president just decided to blanket pardon somebody now?
Yeah, I mean,
just anybody. Okay. I'm gonna write this pardon for
Mustache Man in
for-
1942.
I'm gonna write this pardon for Price of Reason, for anything he might have done ever for the past 25 years. And so here you go. Like, how could you? You can't do that. That's not how this is supposed to work.
It feels like a real
Especially,
stretch.
yeah, it's bizarre.
It feels corrupt.
But yes, they can do blanket pardons, but preemptive pardons, though.
Right. Preemptive is already like that already feels like you're just, you're making a mockery of this whole thing. The blanket pardon, like in advance, that if you ever do anything is just it's bonkers, I think.
It makes me think of those contracts that they come up with where they're like, we own the rights to this character in perpetuity in this dimension and any yet discovered dimension and for all time.
Well, and the thing is also that they're all so afraid. They're so afraid that there's all of these people who are part of January 6th that are going to get pardoned. The more of these pardons you grant, the more and more likely it is that when Trump walks into office on January 20th, he puts down a piece of paper and signs it that says everyone prosecuted January 6th is pardoned now, immediately. And by the way, also you have to pay them like all the back pay and everything that they missed. Whatever. Like, who knows what he does, right? He can just go nuts because Biden has just decided I'm going to be as lawless as I want to be and write all these ridiculous pardons for people, even for crimes that have not been charged yet. It's wild.
If they wanted to save face, they would probably pardon if anyone that might still be in jail from that day, right?
Yeah, I mean, another question I wanted to ask. Bush McFadden said they didn't prove the quid pro quo with Ukraine either. What is he referring to?
Oh, I think he's talking about with Trump. They were saying he had a quid pro quo, saying you have to investigate Hunter Biden or you have to investigate the Bidens or whatever, or else we're going to cut off your funding, kind of thing. That was that.
First of all, I hate to say it, but it seems like now when I see what Biden is doing with these pardons, I almost feel like I don't know what to tell you. Again, this is very odd. This whole thing. They made this whole big deal of him talking to them about the Ukrainian, like the Ukrainians about Hunter Biden, but now it suddenly becomes a lot more relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's wild. I can't. It seems like every day they're doing crazier and crazier stuff as we wrap up this presidency. It's like, are we even going to have like a United States by the time Biden leaves office?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It just feels like so much sabotage. And it also leaves questions of what's going to happen to this whole political system moving forward. I feel like so many lines have been crossed. And what happens down the road? You know what I mean? How do you go back to being a more normal system? And I think it'll be kind of hard.
I honestly was shocked that we actually had an election.
Oh, wow. We have Vex Electronica here. I think we have her.
Maybe.
Hello?
Sort of. Hello.
Hey, Vex.
Hi. You sent me a link, so I'm just going to hang here for like 10 minutes.
You do not have to chime in on American politics.
I like that she's doing the John Lovitz. He's losing his mind, and I'm reaping all the benefits.
Hi, guys.
Did I add her to the thing?
Yes, but I'm like cut off.
Oh.
Just layer it. Just layer it, bro. It's all good. You don't even have to. I'm going to be here for like 10 minutes. There you go.
It'll be fine. This is good.
This is me as a Simpsons person. I was playing around with AI one day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's what this is.
You can tell by the overbite.
Or yellow face.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I know what to do now.
Yeah.
I know that didn't look good. That didn't look good. But there's a reason. There's a reason why I'm doing all this. Is this any better? No, I didn't do anything good, did I?
No, you did. But now you're half out of the frame.
Okay.
There you go.
Now we're here. Everybody's here. Yeah, no, and it's okay. It's a good time that you arrived because I think we did go over a lot of this kind of corruption. But you know what? Even in Canada, where you're at, there's no shortage of corruption in your government.
I thought they were perfect.
I feel like there's so much corruption everywhere, really, and it feels like it's
Yeah.
more than ever.
Yeah.
So,
The Canadians are stupid, man, and they deserve everything they're getting right now. That's all I'm gonna say.
why do they keep voting for Justin Trudeau? Why do they like this guy?
Okay. Let me just real quickly. I'll explain to you why Canadians are dent-headed. We can't say the R word, right? Because we're on YouTube. Okay.
Well, we're on a few platforms, but dent-headed, I like that. I like that idea.
Okay. Dent-headed.
That
okay.
works. Yeah.
Essentially, about what is it? 2024. So about 40-ish to 50-ish years ago, Canada basically started socializing all of their major programs through government funding. And then on top of that, in the early 80s, they started pushing immigration as our identity. Like, I can't remember what the exact slogan is, but that's essentially what the identity is, right? So now you have a few generations that have essentially grown up with the government funding and providing for every major part of their life. So healthcare, schools, jobs now, like was it over half the country, like on average, is employed by a government, which is pretty crazy. In Ontario, it's 2/3 of the province is employed by either the federal or provincial government, which is crazy. So now you have a nation of people that have just grown fat and lazy over the government doing everything for them. And so they will vote for whoever will keep giving them things that will keep them from actually working. And that's where Justin Trudeau comes in. Now, the previous prime minister, I can't fucking remember his name right now. Sorry, Sean. I can't remember his name right now. It escapes me. But he essentially kept Canada from going under with you guys when the 2008 housing crisis happened. We managed to stay pretty successfully afloat. And for a few years after that happened, the Canadian dollar was far stronger than the US dollar. But then Justin Trudeau came along, and he's a bloody pedophile out of Vancouver who liked to touch his students. And he promised that.
Allegedly.
Okay, let's be honest here. It's not alleged. There's evidence.
I want to say that here at Price of Reason Studios, we like to hear a variety of different opinions on different matters, and we welcome debates. I don't know what I wanted to say. Just go on.
Yeah, it's okay. So they saw this pretty-looking pedophile who was just like, I'll give you guys weed.
At least say that he reads PDF files. At least say that he reads PDF files.
Sorry. Okay. So here you had this pretty boy that enjoys PDF files. And he was just like, I'm going to make weed legal for all of you. And the conservatives are racist. And then because Canadians are dent-headed, they were like, oh my God, he'll save us. Oh my God. And now he's been in office for 8 years, going on 9 years. And instead of voting him out, there's been 2 opportunities to vote him out of office. And instead, the fucking dentheads, sorry, Sean, aka women, aka people that work in government, were just like, oh my, but the immigrants and racism, they can't take away the funding. Oh no, the brown people. Oh no, Ukraine.
Canadians sound like Popsicle Man.
Don't women think he looks good or something? I once met a woman and she's like, wow, Justin Trudeau. And I'm like, oh.
You want to know? So when Justin Trudeau got elected both times, I was very heavy into the rave scene. And then COVID happened and I couldn't rave anymore. I want to, but I can't. But anyways, that scene is filled with very, very, very progressive people. And every time a topic of conversation would come up or Justin Trudeau would come up, they all just kind of like had their eyes glaze over, and you could almost like hear their crotches getting like simultaneously wet thinking about him. And it was so weird because like I'd even met one girl who's just like, "Oh my god, you remember that like sweater that there was of him riding a unicorn? Yeah, I have that sweater. It's my favorite sweater." I'm like, "Are you fucking dent-headed?" Sorry, Sean. Like, seriously, you've got a sweater of Justin Trudeau riding a unicorn willingly as not a me? Oh my god.
Somebody in our chats, SWD40 says Canadians love Trudeau because he makes Harry Belafonte look like Malcolm X, whatever that means.
Bruh. Seriously, Canadians are stupid, and now they're complaining, "Oh my god, he's taking away our rights, and oh my god, things are expensive." And it's, yeah, you fucking moron. Sorry, Sean. You voted for this 3 times in a row. What did you think was happening?
But I'm telling you that even beyond politics, like there was a woman that I knew, and she wasn't like a stupid person. She thought that Justin Trudeau was like very attractive, and she was like, "Wow, Justin Trudeau," and that I found even more annoying than people that like his politics. Is he like? Do the ladies like Justin Trudeau
The
that much?
ladies like Justin Trudeau, and let me tell you one other thing. I think the fact that ladies liking Justin Trudeau and Justin Trudeau being voted into office 3 times, I think that's all the evidence you need as Americans to take away voting rights from women to secure the future of your country.
You want to go back in time for no more
I
women's?
would happily give up my right to vote if it meant that dimwits like everyone else around me didn't get to vote for more dimwits. That's
You
all.
know, I do have an anecdote for you. Do you know that back in the day, I kind of was into, raves myself.
I can see it, Price. I can
I,
see it.
I actually, I went to,
So
even
help me if
traveled,
he pulls up little glow sticks on his on his avatar.
you know?
I miss the dance floor, Price. I really do. But like, I don't want to rave in Canada anymore because it's full of commies and cum guzzlers. I'm not about that life anymore. I want to go to a rave down south. I'm saving myself. I have virginized my rave self, and I'm ready to lose that rave virginity again in the
No,
distant
I mean,
future.
I've also been at parties that were kind of more outdoors. You know what I'm saying? Like that, those were the cooler ones. The stuff that
Oh
was,
yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
the outdoor stuff is usually the funner stuff. Not that I haven't been at clubs and stuff. That's something that used to interest me, but I've always really liked, especially if you're in different countries that have a good setting for that kind of thing, and it's something more like outdoors or on a beach, things like that.
Mhm. That's
That's
why
really cool.
I'm waiting for the South, man. I'm waiting for that Miami 2025, baby. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. There you go.
Going to Ultra or something?
Wait, Caleb Levine says something interesting here,
hmm
and Vex, remember, he reads PDF files, if at all.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, the ladies like Trudeau, but I hear Trudeau isn't a fan of the ladies.
So the individual that he had PDF relations while he was teaching in British Columbia several decades ago, those were young women. But in recent years, yes, it has gone the way of the butt sex.
Sorry, Sean.
Wait, is sex a bad word? Is that supposed to be?
No.
Recent years.
I love that.
Yes.
Triggers me.
I
Yeah.
love that the
Oh.
second that Vex arrives, like if there was like that kind of curse jar or whatever it is, like or whatever, it just like overflows the second she arrives. Sean gets like 70 apologies like a minute.
Sorry,
Yeah, but I
I'm
get like a jar full of coins.
No, it's fine,
Wonderful.
Vex.
I'm
you're
getting
you.
tired. That's why. So like
I
the
understand.
filter
No,
is
listen.
very.
She's loopy.
We like you the way you are. The only times sometimes I'm a little more cautious just because I don't want you know.
Do you guys know what happened when I came on here last week? Before we went live, Price was like, Vex, there's words that I know you like. But Vex, please don't. I'm just like, Price. What are the words? Tell me what the words are.
Don't say don't
Say
don't tell
them
them.
explicitly.
I think they can imagine. Don't say anymore.
You get
He's
like a
like,
George
I-
Carlin list.
I know you right. I know you like to say words of a
No,
specific
don't
ethnic
do it.
background.
Whatever it is, don't do it. Don't do it.
I won't say it. But it just
What's it
it was-
rhyme with?
it was
It's fine. Don't say anything, Vex. We had
Give
a
me,
nice
give me a rhyming word in a first letter.
No. I basically told her that there, certain things that sometimes she says, maybe it's better like to steer away from them.
But it was funny because I understood what he meant, and I think since the last time, because a lot had changed in my online demeanor since I
Right,
had
a lot
been
has changed.
here last, right?
Obvious.
I wasn't demonetizing streams with the word punt,
Right.
but Price was thinking, oh no, she's gonna say it.
No, what I told her, and this is the truth, is that sometimes, almost every time that she's on a stream with us, I later on certain platforms have to go and like comb through the whole stream and see what words she said. I would search the transcript, but the problem is that when certain platforms hear a bad word, they don't actually write the bad word because it's a bad word. So even if I want to like search the transcript, I can't really do it. So I would sit there listening to hours and hours of talking, and then I'm like, okay, and I have to write certain times that she says things, and then I go back and I'd like remove those words.
This is
You have no
censorship, sir.
idea. I don't think Vex understands like the situations I've been in. There's one stream on a platform that's not Rumble. I want to just say Rumble is great. Rumble gives us a lot of free speech here. This show is powered by Rumble. Rumble is our headquarters, and they're always cool with our conversations. But there are other platforms that are not as cool. And there was once a situation that you said so many things in a stream that I think that I had to delete it.
Oh no.
No, what I did was I deleted it. I downloaded it, deleted it, re-edited it, and then uploaded it. So there's like one that instead of live, it's like it looks like a video because I had to do so much manipulation around it that I then had to re-upload it. And like
Stalin would be
your
proud,
face
sir.
is on the thumbnail, Vex.
I'm so sorry, Price, but I've gotten a lot better with that.
No, it's
Now-
okay. Listen, I wasn't upset. I
I know you weren't, but it made me laugh anyways because like it was kind of like it's like when you encounter a child that's really nervous to ask you like where the bathroom is, and he just met you that same day, so he doesn't know if you're a safe person to ask. Like that's what it reminded me of.
No, listen, I like the way you are, and I like that you speak your mind and you say a lot of crazy stuff. I really like that about you. The only thing is, like I said, because this is on a few different platforms, some of them are like less supportive of certain things, generally. Now, I'm not saying specifically against you, but some are just less supportive. And
I understand, Price. You're very pro censorship. That's okay. I respect.
no,
You're
not
you're just so naughty, Vex. You're naughty.
I mean,
I love you, Price. Don't worry.
it's like a whack-a-mole too. I'm like, can you not say this? This is sure. And then you go and you start talking. Oh, that guy he likes to read PDF files, but you didn't say the read PDF files. You said the actual thing. And even though I tried to divert it, you diverted it back to the original form.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I didn't know that's a bad word on some platforms.
I think that some platforms don't like that, but hey, you know
Oh,
what? Hopefully it'll
no.
be okay.
I'm sorry.
You got to
I am
use all
so
the
sorry.
coded language, It's,
Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, I envy you Americans. Like I know that you guys complain about everything that's going on in your country, but in all honesty, like you guys have it so much better than most of the rest of the world, and
geez.
I really cannot wait for the day that I can finally become an American. I so desperately want to be an American.
Me
Get your ass
too.
down here.
Yeah,
I
mean,
promise
that would
I
be
won't do
cool.
anything weird to it.
Unless you want to, or want that.
I mean,
Superior now
No.
says, "Who is this chick?"
I don't know at this point, Superior.
It's
Superior Nav, just so you know, if you look at the Night Owl, the first episode is me sitting around and talking to myself for an hour, and the second and third episode of the Night Owl is Vex hanging out with me and talking with me for a few hours. And she is actually the first guest ever on the show.
she's everybody's favorite based brown bonus hole.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's
Thank
yellow to me.
Yeah, but it's listen. Vex brings a lot of fun wherever she goes. So yeah, sometimes it's accompanied by some naughty words, but it's a pretty fair trade-off.
You are right, Vex. I mean, we do have it. Even with all of the wild, ridiculous things that are happening, have been happening in the United States. We've had it so much better than some places. I mean, Canada, and then you look over in the UK where they're literally arresting people, putting people in jail for praying silently.
Somebody's asking, is there a GoFundMe to get her a new liver? But who are they referring to?
She's
Why a
She looks.
Wait.
She's yellow. She
Oh,
looks,
that's why. You know what?
Okay,
I didn't even get. I do have liver issues, so maybe I should just start a GoFundMe.
Yeah,
That's why I don't drink at all. My liver is not very good, unfortunately. So,
but people seem happy. Istophobo says we love Naughty Vex, and then
guys, I love y'all too.
and Adam Gray, what's up, dudes? Vex, and then there's like hearts next to it.
I never get.
Yeah, no, Vex certainly adds some heat.
What other topics did you guys discuss this evening?
Well, I guess what else? The thing that I wanted to say that people were talking about today was if Johnny Depp. There's a rumor that Disney may want Johnny Depp back in their movie, but let me see if I can pull this up. But I actually don't believe the rumor, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you what the rumor is. I'll try to find this thing and pull it up.
Adam Gray, if it sucks so bad, let me take your place in America. I will happily take it, man. I don't have some dude trying to take away my collector's guns thinking that I'm going to kill people with it.
Yeah, the dead man says spicy. I think he's talking about you, probably not me.
Probably not.
Although I have my moments, but not
unless you're showing up at GLAAD conventions with your puppet dressed like Rorschach.
I did go to a LGB gaming panel. Told you that.
You did last week, yes, and
I did tell you that, and
I can't get the mental image out of my head. That's what's killing me about it.
I remember that day I called you and I said you should have joined me. I wish you would have gone with me to that panel. That would have been funny. I don't know why. Like I feel like that would have made that experience like about 10 times funnier. Can you imagine us sitting at one of those panels? I think it would have been just. We probably would have been like laughing our asses off. I feel like alone, I wanted to laugh, but there were so many kind of men wearing dresses next to me and stuff that I didn't really know what to say. But I feel like if you were there, like it would have given me that kind of, like a security net.
I would have been there wearing a rainbow Knuff shirt on top of that. So like I would have balanced out your outfit and puppet with my gay outfit. So it's
somebody says try to get to the super chat before Vex leaves. Okay.
I really want to see Price with a tiny Rorschach puppet mask.
All right, we've got a couple here.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Mr. Phobos.
The dead man for $4.99 a little bit earlier was saying, remember the DNC gave Hillary the debate questions in 2016 before the Bernie and Hillary thing. Yeah, that was ridiculous. It was pretty well shown that they just handed out those questions to Hillary beforehand, which is just absurd. And then Istphobos for $2. Thank you, Istphobos. Just come illegally, Vex, and get free stuff.
That's not fair. I don't want to exploit this because okay, hold on. If I come in and get free stuff, it's not really free because I'm suctioning it off, like I'm siphoning it from you guys. Like it's offset, and that's not fair because I would be escaping a country that did the same fucking thing. Sorry, Sean, to me. All of my taxes go towards paying for the hotels, the food, the luxury cars for all of these dirty people that come across the border and claim the same thing. So, yes, it would be beneficial to me, but
No,
at
but
what
you're good
cost?
people. We can let it slide.
You can't just gray the rules for that kind of stuff. Mm-mm.
Hey, Biden just pardoned his son for like 10 years back and forward. I think we can let you in.
Okay, you make it. No, 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 no. It's not right. It's not right. I refuse to abuse the system like that.
Well, hopefully you'll find a way to make it work. I'm sure there's a way to make everything work so that you could hang out here in the U.S. I'm sure plenty of people will like it. And yeah, the dead man says Price and Vex sitting in a tree. Listen, it looks that way, and I understand it, but it's just logistically, this is this is the best I can do under these circumstances. Vex understands that you know that our relationship is platonic,
I'm also married, very happily married.
and
he's
that
also
too.
a
That
squid.
is also a very important thing to mention. So, so one, it's strictly platonic, and two, she's married.
Other way around. One, she's married. Two, it's
First of all, it's platonic.
And you're different species.
We could never make it work, Vex.
all right. Anyways, Johnny Depp.
Our children would be theoretically, because you're yellow and I'm orange, so they'd be kind of
Brown.
They'd be the color of diarrhea. That's what.
well. Well, I don't even
We
know
can
what to
dream.
say. Nothing I say now is going to be good. I'm just going to shut up. In any case, wait till Tom finds out.
Oh,
I
that
don't
sounds
understand.
ominous.
That sounds strange. All right.
Yeah.
So,
So yes, apparently Disney is considering letting Johnny Depp come back. They must have. I guess they feel like maybe having poops left in his bed was enough of a punishment. I don't know. But
here's the catch: that from what I understand, Jerry Bruckheimer, he's the one that's basically in charge of this information. And the reason I'm taking it with a grain of salt is he said he wrote 2 screenplays, one with Johnny Depp in it, and one a Pirates of the Caribbean movie without Johnny Depp in it. And apparently, at the end, Disney and Johnny Depp will have to decide somehow if they can make peace with each other and make the movie or not. No, I think that this is Jerry Bruckheimer's way of trying to bring both sides to the table. I don't know what Johnny Depp's mindset is. I don't know what Disney's mindset is. The fact that he's the one going to the press and trying to lure these companies and explaining that there's these things and what he's doing now, it feels to me like he's trying to make it happen. I don't know that Disney are prepared to apologize or do anything.
Quick question because I pulled up this article myself. So Johnny was dropped from the 6th Pirates film in December 2018 because of what was going on with the Amber Heard trial. Did they ever make another Pirates movie after that?
No, they had something that they thought of making Pirates of the Caribbean and recasting Johnny Depp with Margot Robbie.
Yes, I remember that news last year. Okay, so there hasn't been a Pirates of the Caribbean movie yet without Johnny Depp.
No.
Okay.
I mean, really, anytime that they announce these kind of, what if Margot Robbie was Johnny Depp? Most people, I mean, yeah, she looks nice, Margot Robbie, but I mean, she can do the Barbie thing. I don't think that people are going to Pirates of the Caribbean expecting her to be Jack Sparrow or Jane Sparrow or whatever it is they're doing.
Especially now, people are over that girl boss trope to such a degree that it would never work.
So hold on. Jerry Bruckheimer wrote 2 scripts, one with and one without Johnny Depp after the whole 2018 firing.
Yeah, so recently, I guess, he has 2 scripts, and he's basically I think the fact that he went to the media and said this, he's trying for Johnny Depp and Disney back to some kind of table where they can maybe strike a deal, and I don't know if Disney are willing to do it, and I don't even know if Johnny Depp maybe Johnny Depp, if he's offered the right amount, he would do it, but even he seemed really pissed with Disney, so it's
I would
it'll
like
be
to think, yeah, I would like to. Sorry, finish your thought. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you go on, you go on.
Um, I don't think. I hope that Johnny doesn't forgive them. Just like to stick it to them. But let's be honest here. Disney's grasping at straws because finally the numbers are too red to ignore. And what better way to restore faith in your general audience than bring back the star of one of your most lucrative modern franchises?
If
Doesn't
they
mean it's
bring
going to
him
be
back,
good.
I think what'd you say?
It doesn't mean it's going to be good. Their whole
Oh,
company is still
yeah.
infested with those stupid people making
The
decisions.
the quality is not what they're going for. It's just what is
Yeah.
going to get people in seats. And Deadpool and Wolverine is a great example. That was a really crappy movie, but guess what? It generated over $1 billion because regardless of quality, people will go see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together on a screen because
Mhm.
they have this very affable relationship offline, right? That people are well aware of. So it doesn't matter if the Pirates movie is good. People will go see, oh, Johnny Depp is back finally. I'll go see that. The kids will enjoy that too. That's all they care about.
Johnny Depp being back in Pirates will be a moneymaker. Even if it's
Yeah.
a bad movie, it'll be a
Exactly.
That'll be something that I think a lot of people will go out of their way to see. It's gonna be huge.
I'd be honestly more interested to know if they actually bought him all the alpacas that he demanded.
He said he would only go back to working with them if they paid him $300 million and gave him alpacas. So
They
I
don't have
wonder if
$300
he's going to
million.
keep to that.
No, they won't apologize to him whatsoever. They'll try and throw money at him, and I hope that he stays strong because he'll do fine without them. He'll do
Yeah.
very fine without them.
Mhm.
He seems kind of low key these days. I don't think he like. I don't know. Here and there, I see that he's in a movie that's more like artsy or whatever it is, but I don't see him really doing these kind of
Well,
big Hollywood stuff.
he only started getting roles consistently again, I think 2 years ago, and it was with an indie film. No big studios have hired him for anything yet because they're still, there is still like it's still in that time period where it's just like, oh, regardless, he's a white man kind of deal. And he was attached to a domestic abuse case. And listen, I think Amber Heard was definitely the worst person in that relationship, but when you listen to it, he instigated some of it too. He wasn't a completely innocent person in that relationship either.
Oh no, he was not. No.
Yeah, so I think there's still, regardless, that will always follow him. He's starting to get it back, but it's changing with the times kind of. It's the Trump effect, right? So as
Mhm.
that kind of comes into play, maybe he'll get more mainstream success again.
She was arguably much worse than him, but I agree that he also. It's not like everything he did seemed perfect, but
Yeah.
she was bonkers. I mean, she seemed to like try to set him up, which I don't think he did that to her.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like he's maybe like a 2 or a 3, but she's a 10 on the crazy scale.
Right.
So he's the
Mhm.
victim either way, but again, there was nothing that made him look completely pure and innocent in that situation. So I think just for optics, they leaned away, but it worked for Givenchy. They kept him on, and their sales skyrocketed. There's still enough of a fandom around Johnny Depp that it'd be worth it. And yeah, let's face it, it doesn't matter what movie Johnny Depp does, whether it's with or without Disney, it gets audiences watching. He's been an icon for like 3 generations of moviegoers at this point.
Senpai says, "Who was it that pooped in the bed?" Yeah, no, that was her.
That
apparently.
was her.
Mhm.
It's a very strange thing to do.
Not if you're a
That
drug
is crazy. What'd you say?
addict. Not if you're a drug addict.
I guess.
Mhm.
I mean, it seems like a awful teenage prank. Hey, it'll be funny. I'm gonna leave a poop in the bed.
Yeah, I mean,
And she's so stupid she did it on her side.
did she?
No, I'm just kidding.
I thought you like researched it.
He's he was looking at the ballistics of the exact positioning.
I've got charts.
Back and to the left.
I guess Wicked is still doing well in the box office. Do you think it's going to get to $1 billion?
What's it at now?
Let me see.
I mean, I would say it's not impossible, but I don't feel like it's going to get to $1 billion.
I mean,
I
the
never
ladies just keep
underestimate
watching it
the
over and over
weekends.
again.
Let's see.
Do you think there's a lot of women out there seeing it repeatedly? I mean, I don't know.
So, I mean, right now it's doing, like today or in the past few days, it's doing better than Moana.
Mm-hmm.
So it already has 377 million worldwide. $1 billion still seems like a tall order, but it could make.
What was the week by week drop off for Wicked?
Let's see.
Well, it's only been out for like a week, right?
Wait, when did it come out? Actually, that's a good question. Hold on. When did Wicked come out?
It came out on November 22nd.
Oh.
No.
Oh, no, it's been 2 weeks. So what was the week after week drop off?
Let me check. Let me see if it will load.
Can you?
It looks
find
like the week to week.
Minus, it's a 28% drop.
You know what? Okay, hold on. But then Thanksgiving weekend happens, so we're not getting a true look at the numbers. So I guess I think you're right, Price. $1 billion is a tall. I thought it was going to hit $1 billion, but the fact that we're looking at under 400 worldwide. Was Wicked even a phenomenon outside of the U.S.?
I don't believe it really was. No.
I still think it can reach like 700 million, 750 million.
Yeah,
I think it's going to have legs. I think it's not going to make $1.
700 is probably about right. 750.
Can I be honest? Oh, sorry. Finish your.
No, I was just going to say right now domestic is 280, while the international box office is only 97. So it's not bringing in a ton of money internationally.
But if it can do international like 200 million and domestic it ends up maybe with 500, it could get to like a 700.
You know what? They totally screwed themselves over by casting a black woman as the lead for the international market. I'm sorry.
Well, you're not wrong.
Because let's be honest, that international number would probably be double if it were a white woman in green skin. Just saying.
Star Trek made me love green women, so yeah, maybe.
I mean, listen, I think that if you think of Guardians of the Galaxy, like you had Zoe Saldana, I don't think she's black. She's maybe Latina.
She's a Latina, yeah, Colombian.
But to be fair, she looks kind of nice. I think that sometimes people are quick to say, well, if it's this skin color, that skin color. I think that if the woman looks nice, I think that usually helps.
It's the facial structure.
You can tell that it's an ugly black woman underneath that green. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. That Cynthia chick, she's fugly as sin.
Is she a woman or is she a they them?
I don't know, but she's ugly.
Right, but all I want to do is, and this is the I just want to give the position of Price of Reason Studios here, that generally speaking, there are many black women who look very nice. Halle Berry looks nice. You know what I'm saying?
just saying, but it doesn't matter if they look good or not, right? Because the Asian market doesn't like black leads. Like statistically, you can track.
Why they would probably like somebody like Halle Berry. I don't think that they would dislike anybody. I think that specifically Cynthia Erivo, if I had to give my opinion here, she's not like a supermodel. There isn't something about her that you think, wow, she's so great. I think that in combination with, or at least for me, her annoying attitude in interviews, that doesn't help. But I don't know. I can't really speak. Foreign markets, like Asian markets, you never know. There could be a situation that people of certain backgrounds and ethnicities they wouldn't like in their movies. That is very much possible. I can't say it for sure. I've never lived there, so I don't want to just throw.
It's not a living there. It's just you can look at what the major studios do to their marketing, for instance, to cater to the Asian market. I think the greatest example is. I can't remember which Star Wars.
John Boyega.
Yeah, they minimized him on the poster.
Yeah, for the first film.
Exactly, right? So they could appeal to the Chinese market. They did the same thing with the Black Panther thing. They didn't
They did. They
show
covered his face. You're right.
exactly. So
They
like
did. They did do it.
we want to say it isn't that, but let's be honest, it is kind of that.
You know what? I accept what you're saying. I think maybe there's some cultures or some places that they're not as inclusive as Hollywood would like them to be.
Mhm.
But personally, I guess what I was trying to say is that I don't care. Generally speaking, if there's a movie with people of different backgrounds and different ethnicities, I'm all for it. I just prefer if there's ladies. I prefer that they look nice. That's just me.
Oh, I recall from the Scavengers Reign streams that we did together.
Oh yes, now I remember you had to hear me every week complain about that show. But you know what? I'm going to be you now and tell you this. If that show had ladies that looked nice on that show, we may have had another season.
I don't think the same rule can be applied, I'm going to be honest, because Scavenger's Reign doesn't really depend on an aesthetic to sell its story.
It
Wicked
needed more
100%.
dudes.
It
It needed more dudes to watch it and be like, okay, I'm sticking with this idea. And making ladies look nice, that's like a minimum, even if it's a drawing. Nobody wants these kind of
it's like an oversimplified French style of animation. Like
Yeah.
the
not
women look like dudes. There was no other way around it. I mean, the dudes usually don't like it when there's women, even in drawings, that they're drawn to look like dudes.
I'm always going to disagree with you on this one, Price. I'm sorry.
It was a good show. Don't get me wrong. That aside, and remember, I sat in all those streams with you, and I said the same thing. I really like what the show does. I like the ideas. It's bold. It's interesting. It's really an experience to watch it. And still, every time I would annoy you, like every time that I would bring it up, that these ladies look like men, and it is a real counter. So
Okay,
I don't know what to tell you.
listen, remember the main character of Scavenger's Reign was always the planet. So if you make the people hyper stylized, you're taking away from the main focal point of the
I
entire
mean, was it
show.
so hard to put a few ladies on that planet? It would have added to the atmosphere.
You wanted
They
people
didn't
to
even try-
bone in this show when no
They
one
did-
needed to bone.
First of all, they're on a planet. There's nothing to do there. There's a bunch of weird creatures. Yes, it would make sense that some things would be going on there. And put some people, you know what, not even when women and men that look decent. Do something interesting there. I don't know. It was it was an intriguing concept with some amazing ideas, and all the people looked like really, really unappealing.
Yeah, I mean, me and Z3PO were just sad that one lady wasn't boning a robot. So, yeah.
But it did have the dead man said it had good writing. It did have
did.
it did have good writing. I agree. But in any case, I think that what's the other one? Gladiator. What's that doing with the numbers?
Not well.
No, it's not doing very well.
How's the
Take a look.
international for that?
It was doing better than than I think the domestic.
Actually,
but
the international is actually doing pretty well.
Okay.
So right now it's at 327 worldwide, 327 million. That's 118 domestic and 208 international.
But the budget is so high. I think the budget
Yeah.
is so high that they're never going to be able to cover it.
Yeah.
They need. I'm trying to see how much money do they.
The reported budget for this was nearly 300, right?
That's
So
but
they-
that's before. I think that budget is old though because it never updated after all of the reshoots.
Right, there was all
Gladiator.
this stuff. They probably need to make like 800-900 million for this to break even, and I don't
Yep.
think they will.
Yeah.
But isn't part
Wicked has
3
more of a
coming?
chance of making a few dollars. This doesn't.
But Gladiator 3 will. Just kidding.
I don't think we're ever going to see a Gladiator 3. And you
I
know what?
hope
I'm
They already announced it.
totally okay with it. Vex, did you see Gladiator 2?
Didn't care. I didn't think the first movie was that great and all. Like
Oh.
I
Hold
hold on. Let me rephrase this. Let me rephrase this. Okay. I can appreciate the film that Gladiator 1 was. It is a very well put together and competent film overall. It's just not my cup of tea.
Fair enough.
So I was not interested in going
Mhm.
to see Gladiator 2 even more because Gladiator 1 didn't need a sequel.
No, it didn't. And when
So
I heard Gladiator 2, I was like, is this a joke? It sounds like you'd see a character walking through a video store and there'd be like a fake poster on the wall and it's like Gladiator 5 or something.
mhm.
It just seemed like a joke.
He did say a few days ago,
Ah.
though, he is not like there is going to be no Gladiator 3, but who knows how much money they can throw at him,
Who
right?
knows? Who knows? We do have another super chat to get to here
Oh, okay.
from the Dead Man for $4.99. Thank you again, the Dead Man, big supporter of the channel. It's pretty shitty. Sorry, Sean, that Johnny Depp got fired and not Amber Turd.
Amber Heard hasn't had any career though since that
No,
happened.
she didn't get
So
fired, but she hasn't gotten hired either.
yeah, so if anything, she did get her comeuppance because after Aquaman, she has had no roles.
Oh, and she was
Nobody's offering her
practically
anything.
cut out of that movie too.
Yep. Yep.
I thought she like moved to Spain or something.
Oh, probably.
She did. She like adopted a baby and then moved to Spain.
Surrogate. She had a baby through surrogate, and now she's announced that she's having a second one. I don't know if it's also through surrogacy or not, but I want to know how she's affording all of this. She's not working anymore.
Doesn't she owe Johnny like millions or
I
something?
think that's why she
does.
lost. She does. I don't even know how much he cared about the money. I think he just wanted to
Yeah.
prove that she sucks.
Oh no, 100%. But it's just she doesn't. Like, how is she affording to live in Spain and have all these surrogate babies? Is Elon Musk still giving her money? Is that it?
I hope not. I wonder how much money she got out of Elon Musk. I mean, she
That's
got
a
a
good
few
question.
million something for that charity. He gave her something, I think.
Yep.
But I
Yeah.
give also Elon Musk credit. I know you don't. I don't know how you feel about him, but at least relatively quickly he stepped away from that relationship.
That we know of.
I think he did. I think that there's really no reason for him to listen. After what we saw in court, I don't think anybody, with any kind of even a quirky person, I don't think anybody would want to be in a relationship with her.
You know what? I don't have enough information to really make adequate comments on Elon Musk's romantic life, but just look at the last woman he had a baby with. That's all.
I don't know enough about it, but
That's all. Just look at just. Oh God.
God,
Scrubs
no.
Scrubs reboot officially in the works at ABC. Are you guys excited?
No
Scrubs
more
is
reboots.
Yeah, Scrubs is one of my favorite shows.
It's
Bill
amazing.
Lawrence, if I remember correctly, he was also behind the second season of Clone High, which recently came out, which was terrible. And the 8th season, the final season of Scrubs, was also terrible because
Yeah, they should have just cut it off when
yeah,
all the regular actors were ready to leave. They should have just cut it off to
yeah,
try and pick it up as, oh, it's going to be another new class of students coming in. Not that there were some fun performances. They had a couple of quirky, interesting characters in that new season, but yeah, it was not the same anymore. It was time to move on. Zach Braff's moving on. Everyone just move on. Just drop
yeah.
the show.
Don't reboot
Well,
this because all of the humor,
No.
like all the dynamic between the characters that happened in the show, first of all, would not play over into a reboot. They would make everyone women basically, which is funny because the women that were in the show, yes, they were Jordan especially, extremely domineering and masculine, but it worked with the way that they had written her to interact with Perry and then everyone else. But now they would just make every woman her, but it would be without any dynamics. So they would just be walking over everyone. I don't think there's anyone competent at ABC that can write
No.
the show well. I really don't. This oh my god. Especially those first like 5 seasons of Scrubs were so brilliantly
Amazing.
written. Yeah. Oh my
Amazing.
goodness.
And then not just the writing, but honestly, great performances. The chemistry in the cast was incredible.
Mhm.
And they really knew their characters well. In fact, they were on set working with working with them, like rewriting stuff. They're like, wait, no, that doesn't work. We should be saying this instead, right? They
Mhm.
knew their characters really well. It was so brilliantly done, so well written, and it's a lot of fun. It's really funny. We were back watching a Scrubs episode just this weekend. We were poking around looking at stuff in our library, and we're like, why do we have Scrubs in our iTunes library? Oh, it's the musical episode. Yes.
By the way, I only watched like very little of this show. I would watch an episode on occasion. I will say this though, that in my real life, there is a person who had I don't know if to say recurring role or something like that, that was on this show that for a while I was somewhat friendly with.
Oh.
Was it the dog?
No, it was a woman, but I was just friendly, not anything else. But there was a short, I don't know, even more. There was a while that we were kind of in touch and we were friendly, but haven't talked to her in a very long time. And I won't say who it is.
I can't wait for the Price of Reason musical episode.
Yeah, no, I don't really like when people do musical episodes. It's not for me.
This I generally you're right. I could care less about musical episodes. There was like musical episodes of Buffy and stuff like that. I gag. Not that I really like Buffy all that much to start with, but musical episodes for the most part, it has to be done right. And they did so many clever things with the way that they did the musical episode of Scrubs, making it that there's someone who's having a neurological issue that they're hearing people sing. So everyone is talking normally unless she's in the room,
Mm-hmm.
and then everyone is singing, and so it's really clever. And then just using like every possible different musical style from classic Broadway performances. It was great.
I agree. I could let them get away with the musical episode. I think there were 2 musical episodes. There was one really early on, I believe, in season 2. Then there was a second one in season 4. And I don't think there were any more after that. The one in season 4 though was far more musical than
There
the
was
one in season
the
1 or
one
2.
they had one that was kind of like, I think what you're thinking of. They had one that was kind of like, it had music video kind of segments to it. It wasn't
It
them
was
actually singing.
No, it
But
was
there was one later on where they did the actual musical.
Yeah, no, the one that I'm thinking of that was early on, it was when they had that terminally ill woman that would like kept getting admitted. JD and Turk were still like in their residency. They hadn't become full-fledged doctors yet. And like this woman, it was a singer that they had play the role. So like she
Was it
periodically,
Colin Hay?
I don't know, but she would,
Yes,
and then
Colin Hay was had some great
she just like she would
music.
break out into song here and there in the episode, but the whole episode wasn't a musical. And then when
Okay.
she finally did die at the end of the episode, she was like wearing a red dress and there were like clouds around her and she was
Yeah,
like
I remember which one you're talking about.
yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember the name of that one, but yeah,
Mhm.
the other one from later on, yeah, is
It's
the one I was
full on
thinking of.
musical,
From
that one.
season 6. Yeah.
Did you see this? That I guess Netflix are being sued because somebody says they stole the idea of Don't Look Up. I think I saw Don't Look Up. There was some awful movie called Don't Look Up. Do you remember that?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I've
I-
ever heard of this movie.
No.
My internet is kind of glitching. I think that it had what's her face? Karen Gillan was in it. Could it be?
Is that looks like Jennifer Lawrence in this picture here that's on the screen.
Maybe she was in it too. Oh, wait. Don't Look Up. Was that stupid one with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Bro, I have no idea. I've never
Yes.
This is
Oh,
one I
okay.
don't think I've even heard of.
That's
Okay,
It
yes,
is a
yes,
movie.
yes, yes. Okay. This was some crappy movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence that they went like all in and like preaching, preaching all that kind of what's his face?
2 low-level astronomers go on a giant media tour to warn humankind of an approaching comet.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was Jennifer
weird.
Lawrence and it was Leonardo DiCaprio, and basically it was full of like the environment. It was very heavy-handed and preachy, and it came out like I think in 2021. And honestly, at the time that it came out, if there was one thing at that moment in time that I especially didn't care about, it was whatever nonsense they were talking about, like the environment at that moment. Like the whole world was like doing all this like crazy stuff. There was that whole Couve thing, and they're like, oh, like there's a comet, and it's because of like climate change, and I'm like, what? It felt really ill-timed. They put it on Netflix, so if they would have released it to the theater, there would have probably been 5 people watching it. But even so, it was on Netflix, and I ended up watching it, and it was a real bummer.
Dang.
Like, they wanted it to be funny, like this kind of satirical funny about how people are ruining the environment. But man, I wasn't in the mood for those jokes. Like, I just sat there rolling my eyes. It's like, it's almost like a counterproductive movie. After watching it, I felt like that I cared less about the environment.
I mean, that's kind of a mixed metaphor too. Like, oh, you got to care about the environment when they're talking about a comet, which there's nothing you could do.
Yeah, I don't
to
know.
change
The reason
that.
Leonardo DiCaprio did it, and we've talked about it before on this show, that he at some point is probably because when he's not on camera, he's on a yacht with a bunch of models half his age. So he decided that he keeps talking about the environment all the time as if he really cares about it. I honestly don't think, this is just my opinion, I don't think he's that interested in the environment. I think it's more a thing that he talks about that makes him look like a more serious guy and not just a guy that sits on his yacht with a lot of women half his age. And yeah, so I think that was part of his brand to do like this thing about the environment. That's probably how they got him on board for that stupid movie.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not saying like I'm a reasonable guy. Let's say there's trash. Yeah, it's okay to put the trash in the garbage can. It's better. I mean, I don't think it's nice to litter. You shouldn't go outside and throw it at like just on the street. You should find a trash can and put it in. But I think that's where my involvement with all this environment stuff pretty much comes to an end. There's garbage, you put it in the garbage can.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Recently there's been so many people talking about plastic pollution and stuff like that. I don't have to get into it. But
Plastic
yeah,
in our balls is the
it's
most recent one.
oh yeah. Well, it's hilarious because they want to talk about all this plastic pollution, and it's hilarious because the Pacific garbage patch, and your straws from your drink are getting into turtles and whatever. It's ridiculous stuff. That nearly 90% of the plastic, the garbage that is in the ocean, is from commercial fishing.
Murrockstra has a comment. I guess he was asking about Leonardo DiCaprio if he's on a yacht reading PDFs. You said that, I didn't. And
Yeah.
here at Price of Reason Studios, we just couldn't determine such a thing. We don't know.
I don't think he likes them that young. But,
right. I think he seems to be. They're usually like between 20 to 25.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he continues to get older and they're still 20 to 25, it doesn't really add to his,
I keep getting older, but the girls say the same age.
Something like that. But I mean, I haven't heard of him doing something like that wrong, but hey, I don't know. I have no idea. Vex probably has a few ideas.
No
But-
comment.
No comment. She was so quiet. I'm like thinking to myself, what is Vex thinking to herself? She probably had like the craziest thoughts and she kept them to herself.
That I heard your voice in the back of my head being Vex, please don't say certain words.
Don't
please.
say it, Vex. Don't say it.
Don't say it.
You were
I
about to say like the worst thing ever. Because I couldn't imagine that you do Leonardo DiCaprio any favors. I feel like,
Nope.
I thought that you were going to say something about, of course, alleged, and I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I thought you were going to say something about Diddy or something.
Oh, I was about to. I was like, I guess we'll find out.
I thought that that's where it was going, but you didn't say anything, and I'm like, wow, Vex has matured.
Is Biden going to preemptively pardon Diddy? Maybe it was
Yeah,
blanket pardon for everybody who was at the Diddy party.
It'll be funny. I mean, I know this is crazy, but it'll be funny if his son was at the Diddy party. That would be funny. It seems like a kind of party that he would want to go to.
Maybe that's
Allegedly,
why he was
allegedly.
pardoned
That's
so
it.
for 10 years. There you
Now
go.
we know he's on the Diddy list.
Mm-hmm.
Istophobos says, during Me Too, Leo went to lockdown. Word has it that he was terrified, kept a very low profile. It's possible.
A low profile on a yacht? That seems a little bit of a oxymoron.
Well, he vetted all the ladies that were hanging out on his yacht, I guess. Made sure that they cared about the environment.
That's that
Gotcha.
growing pains money.
Gotcha. Okay.
I wonder if his yacht is good for the environment.
Well, okay, listen. So this is a weird thought I had about Leonardo DiCaprio several years ago.
Okay.
He is okay, so he's not married and he doesn't have any children, which means that he's hooking up with numerous women and he's probably using condoms with all of them. Then he's throwing away all of those condoms into the ocean. So isn't Leonardo DiCaprio polluting the environment by having multiple relationships with young women who he is not marrying or breeding with?
I bet a lot of dolphins have suffered at the hands of his
Just saying.
escapade. Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio coming is literally hurting the environment.
He should get snipped for the environment.
That's just my theory, okay? I thought
Well, here at the Night Owl, we do real research into
Real research. This is like
serious
thoughts you have on
analysis.
the toilet.
Serious analysis of world events is what happens here on the Night Owl.
Leo needs to get snipped. You take one for the team.
I have to. I guess I'll read it. It's the Phobos. Price of Reason Live. Leo likes root sex with women. This came from a Bara Fali interview. Did it? I've never seen that interview.
I've never seen that interview either.
I would hope.
Maybe he just liked her butt for that stuff.
That is true. I don't know. I've never seen that interview. And then Istophobos says he only slept with hookers during Me Too. It's possible. Interesting. But yeah, that's a lot of. I love how so many people have an opinion about this. This is actually like the most like rowdy chat we've had in a while.
No man likes only one butt, says Istophobos.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, we know for sure Leo does it because he's trading him in when they turn 25. So
sometimes it's weird being the only face on the screen.
Okay, wait a second. So I haven't watched that Creature Commandos thing. Has anybody watched that?
I didn't know it was out.
Oh no.
I haven't got to it, but then I see this article, how Creature Commandos recorded that animated sex scene. It was long minutes of us kissing our hands.
there's so the first 2 episodes are out, if I remember correctly. There's another clip that's circulating on Twitter right now of like the Frankenstein looking woman. Basically, every time she gets hit, she has flashbacks of her having sex with someone. I don't know. That's in Creature Command. I was kind of like vaguely interested because all of these characters on the poster looked kind of interested. I don't know anything about the Creature Commandos in the comics, but then I saw that clip and I was like, oh, I don't feel like watching a woman who sees orgasms every time she gets punched in a fight in a show. So I'm gonna pass on this one.
Yep. This one never interested me. I have no idea why. What would interest me about it? I have no clue.
James Gunn, bro. James Gunn. He's gonna save the DC universe, bro. Didn't you know?
I never understood
I think he's
why. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I think he's gonna pull an Amber Turd on this one.
I never,
Mm-hmm.
I never understood why he announced it first. It's like all he had to do was announce one movie, Superman, and then just nail that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess now I have no idea why they're talking about this, but Jason Sudeikis and Pete Davidson are making it seem like they weren't paid a lot for being on SNL. Pete Davidson says I was paid $3,000 an episode. First of all, $3,000 an episode is still better than no grand an episode. I mean, there's like 4 episodes in a month.
Yeah,
It's
$3
not
grand,
terrible. I mean,
$3,000 a week. I mean, that
Well-
might not be big Hollywood money, but
To
right,
be
but
fair, for Pete Davidson, $3,000 a week isn't a lot when he was using Ariana Grande's Sugar Mama money for like a year. So
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were going to say when he was using cocaine.
that too. Yeah.
that was just his cocaine.
Allegedly.
Allegedly his cocaine.
when
You're
two,
right.
when,
Price of Reason
Rice of Reason
Studios.
Studios, yeah,
when
we're not sure that
2,000 a
they're-
week is allegedly going up your nose, 3,000 a week isn't a lot.
I love how I roll out that disclaimer every 5 minutes, and
I love that you have a Price of Reason Studios.
Allegedly.
that's what happens when Vex is here. I roll out a lot of disclaimers. So I guess. Oh, and Jason Sudeikis adds, "You don't make enough for big purchases." I mean, listen, I don't know. They're trying to make it seem like they're everyday guys. That still sounds like pretty good money to me. The other thing that they're not talking about, both of them started getting cast in a lot of other stuff. So you're on SNL, but I don't know if today it's even considered anything anymore. But for a while, look, even in Wicked, that Bao and Yang guy is in that movie. They had to pay real money for him to be in that stupid movie.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Basically, Bao and Yang is that Asian guy, and he plays in Wicked. He's like the friend of Glinda, or I don't know what. So he's now in a movie that's like a real studio production. I guess what I'm saying is that even now, as much as SNL is crap, it still opens the door to some people. So what I'm saying is, yeah, maybe they paid him $3,000 a week, but suddenly, like, he was in like 3 or 4 movies a year, even in some kind of character role or something like that. Each role like that probably paid him a few $100,000.
Gotcha.
I guess what I'm saying is that this is a nice kind of spin, but I don't buy it.
You're like, shut up and quit whining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, you think that without SNL, just Jason Sudeikis would have gotten all these other shows and movies and whatever. And at the time when he was there, Jason Sudeikis, it was still semi-tolerable. Even then, it was already going downhill, but I mean, it was still semi-tolerable. So yeah, so people that go on a show like this, they expect for it to be a booster for their career. Maybe initially you get paid less, but it's going to end up paying more, especially if they keep you around more and you stay more seasons. You'll get more money eventually.
Price, could you read Istafobo's last comment there in the chat, please?
Okay, let's see. I love her each weekday, every velvety cheek day. You know how it seems. My love gone loaded and she's in my sights. Big game is waiting there inside. What is this? Is he talking about you? I have no idea.
He's talking about butt sex.
Is he still on that topic? I thought we were kind of moving on to we were already talking about like Pete Davidson's alleged cocaine bill. I think that how do we get back to talking about Leonardo DiCaprio and butts again?
Sorry. Continue, please.
But it was still interesting to see that, and yeah. What else was on the thumbnail? What were we talking about, Professor?
Oh goodness. Let's see. There was some mention of Ubisoft and their
didn't they just fire a ton of people?
Yes, they just laid off a ton of people. They've closed a couple of studios at this point. Let's see if I can find.
So X Defiant yesterday, I
Yes.
think it was. So
Yes.
that was supposed to be their big multiplayer first person shooter. It was supposed to compete with Call of Duty. They hired him, the guy that was the running producer for the original Modern Warfare 2. Basically, the entire game flopped, even though they said just like a few weeks ago that they weren't shutting down and all of this stuff.
Yep.
So, officially, I believe it will shut down in June of next year. But anyone who buys the game now, like they won't, like you can't buy the game to play anymore, because it's just not worth it to for the uptake. So now with X Defiant closing down, 177 employees, I believe, are losing their jobs, and they closed down Ubisoft Osaka,
Yep.
which primarily did like mobile games. So they're not part of like the Shadows Squad or anything. And they also shut down the San Francisco branch.
Yep. When you with the total shutdown, I think immediately it was around. I think it was 177 laid off. It will total 300 by
There
the
we go.
time the two studios are shut down.
If
So,
they fire everyone, I guess, between those two
Mhm.
instead of shuffling.
mhm.
Okay, gotcha.
It
And
is
their
not
stocks
pretty.
tanked as well after that announcement.
And a lot of people are saying this is just the first of many announcements to come from Ubisoft about layoffs and
Oh yeah,
game cancellations and studios shutting down, and very likely going to end up with a buyout, probably from Tencent.
yep. Because Tencent already has,
Yep.
I believe, a 10% stake in the company.
It's
Yeah,
it's not
Tencent.
insignificant.
Yeah. No, that 100%. I think we'll see the next round of layoffs. If we don't get them in mid to late January, then it will come after the release of Shadows in February, right before the fiscal year ends.
Mhm.
So,
And they're still saying that Shadows is still coming in February.
it
So
has to
they're-
come out. It
I
has
mean,
to come out. Yeah. It just regardless of what the consumer wants or the state of the game or whatever, Ubisoft needs to release it and gain just take in whatever income they can from that release. It's a lose-lose if they either way, if they don't release it and if they do release it.
oh, it looks like maybe the 177 number was a typo. It's actually 277.
Oh,
Yeah.
good lord.
277. Again, there's a possibility some people might be shuffled back and forth, but yeah, I mean, if you're working in Osaka, are you going to be packing up and moving to France?
Oh, definitely. Especially when you're working on mobile stuff
Yeah.
predominantly, which is popular in the Asian market, not a Western market, right?
No.
Yeah. I mean, this is no surprise. Ubisoft has been on the down, I think, for like 3 years now. And last year, they didn't turn any profit whatsoever. Like, at least the 2 years prior to that, there was like some profit, but they were just completely in the red last year. So this is
Mhm.
this is no surprise. This is just the cows coming home to roost. And I believe they cut a bunch of games out of production at the end of 2022. On top of that, so they're running on virtually just Assassin's Creed. There's like 4 Assassin's Creed games planned out, including Shadows. That's basically all the company's running on at this point.
And some of their like stupid titles that they just release a new one every year, like Just Dance.
Yeah.
That get them like a little bit of cash here and there. That's really all they've got left. Star Wars Outlaws was a massive flop.
Yep.
And Assassin's Creed Shadows is also going to be a huge flop. Doesn't matter when they put it out.
Yeah.
It's gonna land with a thud.
Prince
they
of
had that
Persia.
Prince of Persia. Yeah, that's
It had good
kind of a
reviews, that one, it
non-starter.
seems, but nobody bought it. So,
Yep.
By the way, Sean, you mentioned that you were watching that Skeleton Crew. I seem to be in a minority here, and I seem to have pissed some people off. I mean, not pissed that they won't talk to me, but I feel like some people are annoyed because I said how much I dislike the show, and I guess some people really like it.
Are they
Sean,
insane?
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised. I was sitting on a stream today with Nerd War, with Erwin for Nerd Wars, and with Angry Badger and with Gooch, and they all seemed at least kind of to like this Skeleton Crew thing. I was just going off, I mean, I don't know. They thought that I was like, how do I explain it? I was very aggressive in explaining to them how much I disliked the show, but everybody was talking to me like I'm some crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
But Sean, it seemed like you had some thoughts about the show. What did you think?
I can't stand it. I don't know why
well,
I even bothered. I tried getting through the first episode, and then I had no one to talk to, so I just started writing down my annoyances with it, and then I fell asleep. And then I fast forwarded to the end, and I was like, "This is so stupid."
I think that what's happening is that there's people, and I see this every time. It's like it's a never-ending thing with some people. They're desperate for Star Wars to be good again,
Mhm.
and then Disney it's like somebody that you're walking in the desert for many years, and you have nothing to drink or nothing to eat, and then somebody just like throws you a bone and you quickly eat it. Some of these kind of disgruntled Star Wars fans are like that, as much as they're all like in the trenches and arguing and standing up for all the thing. At the end, you give them a few kids flying around in space, some annoying little kids. I don't know what they're even doing there, and they're like, "Wow, finally, like Star Wars is back." Star Wars isn't back. You know what I mean?
No,
This
it's
is
not. The
hello.
Are you
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, we hear you.
Do you hear me?
Hello.
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
everything on my end just completely collapsed. And then,
Weird.
and
Hello?
then I came back. So Price probably had the same thing happen.
Price is
Gotcha.
crashing.
Yeah, Price will be back in a moment. Yeah. Well, while we're so well, I have to agree a lot. I think with Price on what he was saying about everybody loving the show so much, and I think that they want something to love. They want
Mhm.
something to enjoy, and
Did I disappear?
yeah,
You did, yeah.
My
I
my
feel
whole
like
my whole browser, the whole window collapsed. It
right,
just
everything
shut down.
collapsed. And I hope we're still streaming.
Yeah, it looks
It
like it's
says
still going.
live. Yeah.
It's still going.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it like watching that show, it's so earth-based with just like some sci-fi stuff slapped on it. I was like, this looks or it feels like I'm staring at a flock of flamingos barking. Like this does not feel like Star Wars. I don't like even the blue elephant, not Max Rebo kid. He behaves so much like a human kid. I don't know why they made him an alien. Like you might as well have just hired a fat little kid to play him, because it would be the same thing.
It's Star Wars.
Well, the thing
Star
is
Wars.
actually the elephant is probably the best part, just in the sense of like those kids are annoying. Somehow, when it's a little elephant, you're more forgiving.
Yeah. Well, the girl. This is the same problem I had with like the Phantom Menace. It's like, oh, I'm 9 years old and I'm a mechanic, and it's like, oh, well, here come two girls on a hover scooter or hover bicycle, and they're like, oh, I need to replace my power coupling, and I'm like, just stop talking. This is so unbelievably stupid, and I was just
Only you understand me, Sean. I was sitting on a stream today, and everyone, well, it's not so bad. I kind of like it. The kids aren't that annoying. Blah blah blah. And I'm like the only one. No, it's terrible. And everybody's
no.
like, everybody was like, I don't want to say getting offended, but I mean, people will really, I guess, like this more than I do. I think it's crappy.
It's crap.
Well-
The one kid, his entire sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The one kid's entire personality is that he's basically us as kids in the 80s and 90s liking Star Wars and reading about Jedi. Like all he does is flip through images of Jedi, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's like
where did
meta.
he get these books and
Right, exactly. They're trying to
Yeah.
go for some kind of meta thing, and I don't like it at all. Vex,
Yeah.
I know you don't especially like Star Wars, but did you get a little glimpse of that skeleton crew thing?
No, Star Wars is gay.
Well, if you saw this show, you think much worse things about Star Wars. If you saw this skeleton
Oh
crew
no,
show.
then there would be definitive proof that Star Wars is in fact gay, and I was right all along, not to get involved with this franchise whatsoever.
I mean, listen, the original trilogy I think is worthwhile, but
Still gay.
Did you ever watch it?
I did, because I took some film classes in university, and that was like we had watched the original trilogy going through. I can't remember what the
Which
unit was on.
version?
I have no. I didn't even know there were versions, but we watched the original trilogy, and I just was not a fan of it whatsoever. I thought this is what people get their nuts all sticky over. Like what? I didn't get it.
Well, Princess Leia and the bikini is what they get them sticky all over.
Yeah, that's it mostly. So after we were talking on Tuesday, Price, I was actually like kind of going and reading some more reviews, and I kind of went back and I watched a little bit more of one of the episodes, and I realized, so this is the thing that has me caught up on this show now.
Real quick, I'm gonna bounce and go to bed.
Oh well, you
Sorry.
can't
You
bounce.
heard
before
Star
I
Wars,
share-
and that was the end of it. At least
you
I
can't
know.
bounce before I share with you what I found on the internet.
All right. First of all, I just
It's
before
bound
you
to be
even share it, I
classy.
want to say that I've discovered Vex's kryptonite. You say Star Wars, she's gone.
She's gone. Yeah.
Next time she talks about like PDF files and weird things, I say Star Wars and she vanishes. I'll keep that in mind.
In a puff of smoke and brimstone.
Anyhow, Professor R2 wanted
Well,
to show
no,
you something.
It looks
so-
like somebody at that Comic-Con in New York must have been taking pictures on out on the floor, because we got a picture.
That's kind of what I looked like at Comic
Oh
Con.
no!
That's kind of what I look like at Comic Con. I won't lie to you. That's a pretty good.
The very best part of what this AI did when it made this for me is that it also put Price's puppet in a trench
yeah.
coat.
But who's the stranger with his hand up your butt?
That's what I look like at New York Comic Con. Good stuff.
No
That's a
wonder
good
they
one.
were looking at you strangely.
That's how I went into the gaming panel.
It's Darkman holding a weird.
I really wonder what they were thinking. And there was one of them that really looked at me and like not in a good way, like that was speaking, and they were looking at me, and it was like I wonder what they were thinking to themselves.
Well, you didn't have any blue or purple hair sticking out of those bandages, so they were a little
No,
worried
I
you might not be part of the cult.
I seemed like a guy that shouldn't be there. I really had that feeling, but
All right. Thank you for that, R2, first of all, and thank you for having me on for a
well,
little
thanks for
while.
hanging out with us. I know it's a late hour, and thanks for hanging out. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon.
Hopefully. Sean, it was a pleasure to meet you. I want to swear before I go, but I don't want to offend Sean, so.
I'm so entertained by this, but I'm so irritated that I didn't get to pass the buck on to someone else.
All right. Cheers, guys. Have a great rest of the stream. Bye, chat. Take care, chat.
Bye.
She's
Always.
still here.
Always
there she
fun
goes.
having Vex here.
No, it's only her image.
Yeah.
Before I passed out watching that show, they were like telling the little girls that they found the Jedi Temple, and then suddenly the little girls knew exactly where the Jedi Temple was, and I was like, "How did they find this location?"
Yeah,
that
I
you
don't know
randomly
either.
Fell
It's
into?
just so annoying that it was. That thing was so annoying.
Yeah.
There was so much that was wrong with that show,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry. I know that people are. I don't hate Star Wars theory, and it's fine if he likes it. I
Yeah.
also like Angry Badger, and if he likes it, it's fine. Nick, our friend, he was like, head over heels, like, in love with this show. I personally, I don't see it. It just looks, it's annoying. It's just another. This is what I keep telling people. I just wanted one thing to be Star Wars done properly since they bought Star Wars, and I haven't seen that. And when you don't do the main thing properly, to say, well, we want to do kind of a different show now for little kids. What if they were in space with some talking elephant? What if they weren't? What if you made something What if you made a Star Wars that wasn't shit? You know what I mean? What if you did something that really was a Star Wars proper, anything, movie, show, anything, and then once you have like a streak of a lot of successes where you do great things, you want to try a little bit of Nickelodeon Junior, do it. But
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
I feel like this is just out of left field. It's like a Hail Mary's pass, and them trying to get some kind of Stranger Things going on.
Well,
And
here's the thing that I'm stuck on, Price. There is absolutely nothing about this show that is original. It is clearly, to me at least at this point, it is clearly just a retelling of Treasure Island. They didn't even bother changing some of the characters' names. Jim is Wim.
Oh.
Long John Silver is Captain Silvo. Right? We're going to keep, and I guarantee you, we're going to keep seeing it because that's where this pirate theme is all coming from. It's all just a retelling of Treasure Island. And then they're borrowing all of these, literally borrowing whole scenes out of 80s kids' adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The scene where the dad is walking around telling his son, "Oh, hey, you got to get to school, and I've got work. Here's lunch money, all this stuff." That is almost word for word, shot for shot, stolen from the Neverending Story.
No Star Wars character should ever say the words lunch money.
I mean, there is nothing about it that is original in any way, and it's just kind of pathetic. And I can't get over it. It's
that dad kills me too, because he always like darts into a frame and then leaves another direction. He's always darting and leaving.
you know why? You know why that happens? I feel like that's a technique that Spielberg used. I have to watch E.T. again. I feel like there were moments in E.T. that he used a technique like that with the mom, and I feel like they're trying to copy that and put it in here. I could be wrong. I have to watch E.T. again. I haven't watched it in a while. I personally can't stand that father. I think that the actor that plays him, either he's not being directed well or maybe he's just not a good actor for that role. I also think that they're trying to make it like it's the E.T. mom, but it's not like the E.T. mom. The E.T. mom had to work and support 3 children as a single mother, divorced, whatever she was. Whereas this guy is just a douche. He has 1 kid, and he just keeps on like walking in and out and barely talking to him. And it's like, and it's also kind of schizophrenic. Like,
yes,
in some moments he's suddenly there. Oh, where's my son? He's on a ship. Oh, why is he in school? Why is he like he really cares about him? Then other times he doesn't even want to talk to him. He's like, hey, can you read me a bedtime story? No.
Yeah. Well, there's also the like clearly dystopian world that these kids live in. You called it out in your video that you did, Price. It's basically
Did you enjoy my video, by the way?
Yes, it's basically
I thought it was pretty
like
good. I thought it was
communist
pretty
Russia. It's this massively planned economy where everyone is shuffled into their lanes and their specific jobs when they're kids, and then they have no opportunity. There's no way for them to fit into any other part of society except where they're told they can be based on some little test that they take. It sounds just disturbing, to be honest.
Sounds like Futurama. I swear modern Lucasfilm thinks Futurama and Spaceballs is canon to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, we got a couple of super chats we need to catch up on here.
Oh, okay.
We've got two different chats from the Dead Man. This first one is for 1999, 20 books. Thank you, the Dead Man. Very nice. He says, off topic, but I watched I think Josh Brolin on the Joe Rogan Experience, and he came off really humble for a celebrity. He talked a lot about Hunter S. Thompson. He brought up HST post 9/11 article on ESPN. Turns out HST was pretty correct. I'm not HST. Not sure which one that is. Hunter S. Thompson. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I've seen Josh Brolin in a few different things as well. I have not gotten to see that talk on the Joe Rogan Experience, but I'm interested in it. He seems like a pretty down to earth guy. He's pretty humble, but Yeah, I never know with people from Hollywood.
I mean, the thing is that he actually was in the well, his father was an actor, right? He
Yeah.
was James Brolin.
James Brolin. Yeah.
Brolin. He was on Hotel, which is fine. The only problem is, I think that James Brolin isn't he married to Barbara Streisand?
I think
I
so.
can't believe I know this. It's like my
Yes.
oh that is quite annoying. And the thing is, I thought that the ladies like James Brolin. To be with Barbara Streisand, she's so annoying. But okay. I mean, I
That's
understand she can sing and all, but man, I've always found her kind of annoying. But okay, so
that's
he's with her. So basically, he was born to a family that was very Hollywood-ish. But
Mhm.
but he's not a bad actor, and maybe in addition to it, he just has a good attitude. But it's really like an anomaly. Usually, when you have like a second generation like that, it's usually a bad sign. This one is all
Yeah, you
right.
never know. Yeah, nepo babies, kind of a thing. Yeah, who knows?
He
But
has all the makings of like a nepo baby that would be annoying, but I
yep,
can't say he's usually pretty good in movies when they put him there.
yeah,
I mean, people complain maybe that they want to give him too many movies, but I think that I don't know. I think that usually he's pretty decent.
yep. And hey, you know what? If you want to feel better about it being off topic, Dead Man, Josh Brolin was in Goonies, and the show we were talking about is basically just Goonies in
A
space.
Goonies ripoff, yeah.
yeah, it's not good.
No.
And there's I want to slap the person that designed everything. Every single aspect of the show is wrong. When it started and there were pirates, the one guy walked out, and I went, "Well, there's Jude Law," and
Exactly.
I'm sure it's going to be him later.
Yeah, 100%. It's gonna be him. Yeah.
That is the dumbest mystery ever because it sounds like him, and then like you see him later. It's like surely there was some storytelling that they could have done here that would have been more interesting.
Well, like
Well,
even Leia had a different voice in Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Like,
I
yeah.
mean, why couldn't they make him eat when he has the helmet? He has a completely different voice. Make him
yeah,
sound like more like machine, and then later, when it turns out that he's that guy, it's almost like a Palpatine situation where at the beginning is that friendly senator, but then he's not. So at least like do something like that, just to have him like they ruined the whole mystery. And really, these two episodes for me, if you really think about it, felt like sort of bottleneck episodes that you just need to go from A to B. In the first one, they needed to get on the spaceship and leave. Everything that we get beyond that is just a bunch of nonsense that with storytelling that's not even told in a tight way to lead up to that moment. Very
yeah.
convenient how they all arrive there and not organic, in my opinion. The fact that he's like, "Oh, I'm late for school. I'll go into this. I'll fall off a cliff. Oh, it's a Jedi temple. Oh no,
Mm,
it's a ship." Too much. I don't like how that plays out.
yeah.
I don't know why it doesn't do it for me. I don't think it's good storytelling. And then so the whole episode is basically to get them in the ship and they leave. Next thing, they're already on the ship. What? They go to that thing with the that kind of Mos Eisley cantina thing. I don't know, man. I it's just it doesn't it's not good enough for me.
They go
And
to
that's
the
another episode, 30 minutes on that crap.
yeah, they go to the pirate, yeah, haven or whatever it is, and somehow their ship has no record of where it flew from.
Hmm.
Like, it got there, but they don't know where it came.
That is
That
very
doesn't make
weird.
any sense.
Generally speaking, they would need to know where that thing came from. I mean, you punch in your previous coordinates and it'll take you there.
Yeah.
And
Most
also I don't know if I was talking with you about it, but that robot should know how he got there. Meaning he was a robot working on this ship. Doesn't he know how he got to this planet? Doesn't he have any kind of information? That's odd too.
Unless he mind wiped himself. Uh, I don't think anyone at Lucasfilm understands the logics of the space travel
No,
aspects.
no.
Yeah, especially like time and distance. Like usually, like in the old EU stuff, it would take like a week to get somewhere.
Yeah, that is infuriating. And I think that's all come down from J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
He has no concept of time and distance. He did the same thing when he was making the Star Trek, the
Mm-hmm.
2009 Star Trek, and those others, where it was like, yeah, no, we'll get there in like 5 minutes. It's like, oh well, let's
Yeah.
fly to the Klingon Empire. We'll be there in 10 minutes. And it's like,
Let's
No.
hyperspace underneath the shield directly at the planet.
yeah.
No, sir, that's no.
Or let's see a Death Star weapon being fired across interstellar distances, but you can see it from a
Yeah.
planet nearby somehow.
Yeah. I feel like Disney has done nothing. There was this comic series when Dark Horse was still doing Star Wars. It was called Star Wars Tales.
Yeah.
And they did stuff that wasn't canon, but they were just like one-off story ideas. So they could be as weird as they wanted to be. And I feel like Disney has done nothing but several Star Wars Tales stories that could be read or thrown away. It doesn't matter about anything. Like you were saying, Bryce, they have not made one single thing that really feels like Star Wars yet. Like even when I went to see Rogue One, I hated the idea of it up until I got to the movie, and then I was walking in and I went, you know what? It feels like a side Star Wars story that would be like a one shot comic or something. So I'm a little more forgiving of that movie just based on that.
I'm still waiting for my adaptation of the Tag and Bink comic.
Yeah, that was funny. I heard somewhere that George considered it canon, and I was like, please don't.
My favorite bit from all of those was them walking in. They can't find, everyone has already abandoned Yavin, and they're like, crap, we can't find everybody. And so they walk around and they're walking, and then they find on the ground is Chewie's medal. It's got dropped and it's broken, and so that's why he didn't get him.
So
Yeah.
Istophobos says Price of Reason Live. To be fair, Lucas did insta travel in the prequels.
I mean, I don't know that it was as much insta travel as it was. They just kind of skipped what was happening during that time. It wasn't as bad as it is now, where it's like, hey, we need to go talk to the people in Coruscant. Whoop, we're at Coruscant.
I feel like
whoop, we're in the Outer Rim again.
I feel like a lot of stuff in the prequels was just conveniently close to each other, like in this region of space or whatever. I could be wrong.
Maybe, but I don't know. I listen. I always say the same thing. I understand that there were flaws in the prequels. I saw them when they were happening, and even today, it's not that I overlook these flaws, but I know you're less. You probably hate them, Sean, but I think that I can still appreciate certain aspects of those movies, and especially that there was an overall story that I wanted to tell, and it tells the story even if it's flawed. These things that Disney makes are not on that level, not even on the prequels level. They're just crap.
They lack a fundamental basic knowledge of what the series is, and the two biggest things are good versus evil and mythology. So, and they don't want either of those things in Star Wars. They don't like heroes. They don't want heroes. And yeah, they'll never get it right until they can empathize with heroes.
You forgot the third pillar. Merchandising.
The kids love it.
They'll love it.
And by the way, I haven't said it until now, but to all the people that are watching us on different platforms, so first of all, if you're watching on Rumble, I know that there's a lot of people that watch us that they use an app, and then they can use the app and they don't have to sign up for Rumble. But I still recommend that you do sign up for Rumble, because Rumble is a really good platform. There's a lot of free speech here, and it's only growing. And we really like being here, and we like the kind of atmosphere that exists here. So I think you should sign up. And if you sign up and you also feel like following this channel, that's good. And you can also follow Professor R2, who has his own account here on Rumble. And Sean has his own comic books that he sells. I think you can buy them at Crumb's Comics. Maybe you can drop a link at some point. But you should follow these guys. You should also, if you want, if you're sitting and you do have access, you should like this stream. If you feel like dropping some comments, liking, all that stuff is good for us. So if you're enjoying what we do here, please consider doing that. That's always very helpful for us. And regardless, like I said, Rumble is a really, really great platform. And if you're kind of one of those people that kind of just surfs and checks out things, doing an account on Rumble is free. There are other tiers that you can do, maybe premium and pay. But I'm saying that you could just sign up for free, and then you'll be able to comment, you'll be able to like, you'll be able to be more engaged. And we'd love to talk to more people. So just throwing that out there.
And I do like certain parts of the prequels, but I can fast forward through them in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. There's a lot about the prequels that I've just never enjoyed. Honestly, the third film, Revenge of the Sith, is probably the only one that I can watch all the way through anymore.
I think that if Lucas had actually not made The Phantom Menace, not made Attack of the Clones, and just said, I made one prequel, here's Revenge of the Sith, I think that people would look at that whole endeavor much more fondly.
It's still flawed.
Yeah, it
is still flawed, but I think that people would have been more forgiving. You have one flawed movie that's the best out of the three. People would have said about it. It's flawed, but I don't know. I think that there's things that happen with Jar Jar Binks and teenage Anakin that are not easy, to forget. So there's some issues in those prequels. I still don't hate them. I didn't even hate them when I watched them in the theater. I don't know why I didn't hate them.
It took until Revenge of the Sith came out on DVD for me to go, this is all crap. Up until then, I was willing to forgive a lot.
I mean, I had a friend of mine that watched them, and he really liked the original Star Wars trilogy, and he hadn't seen them, and then he suddenly saw it, and he hated them. So I think that was an early time that he's like, this isn't, what, are you kidding me? You're comparing this to the original? Not that I was even comparing it, but I'm just like, well, it's still nice. It's the prequels. And I started running into people that really didn't like them, and I understand that. I had mixed feelings. There were things I didn't like about them, but overall, I still didn't hate them, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm like those guys today that like the Skeleton Crew. Who knows? But I still think there was more to offer in those prequels, and I wasn't an idiot. Like, I knew watching and the Jar Jar Binks was kind of annoying. I knew that Phantom Menace, they're like walking around the desert for 3/4 of a movie doing nothing. There were issues with that movie. And Attack of the Clones, I don't know. Everybody hates Attack of the Clones. I understand. He likes Sam. There's some silly things going on there. Nick, our friend Nick, is like, oh, they made him a stupid teenager. Maybe all of that's true. But there are still moments that I still feel are kind of fun in Attack of the Clone, even if it's a flawed movie. And Revenge of the Sith, I rather liked it. I don't know. What am I going to do?
You know what's funny? I saw the first one, the first of the prequels, Phantom Menace. I saw that in the theaters a couple of times because I was just convinced that maybe there was something wrong with me. Why would I not like Star Wars? But after seeing it the second time, I realized, I just don't really like this movie very much. It's kind of dumb. And there's this whole pod race thing in the middle that, while an interesting set piece, just slows the entire movie down to a
totally crawl. That is a big problem. I agree with you. Phantom Menace out of the three actually was a very weak opening. I liked Liam Neeson's character, and I liked certain ideas there, and I liked the final duel and all that stuff with Maul. There were things that I liked, but overall there's a lot of issues with the movie and the pacing of that movie. And I feel like, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, for me, the other thing was too this, I don't blame Jake Lloyd, but that child Anakin character is awful.
Well,
he's infuriatingly just annoying when he's on screen.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's I think that I don't think we needed to see him that young. I think that, like I said, if there weren't the 3 movies and there's just a Revenge of the Sith type movie
Yeah.
where we're immediately introduced to him already as a, teenager, whereas Obi-Wan is his master, and they're like already friends and working, and then gradually he would go to the dark side within that movie, I would have actually been better about that than the 2 movies that came before that. There was a way to
Mhm.
make one much, much better Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
improving on the whatever foundation he
Yeah.
has right now, which is almost all right. You refine it, you fix its issues. It could have been a very decent prequel. One prequel.
Yeah, well, you know what? I honestly, I still today, I would still say, I think you could make the prequels, all 3 films. I think you could make those 3 movies with similar plots, everything. I think you could make them good.
I would change
With
everything.
with a I think if you had competent writers and a strong director and you got the right actors in place, you could go with pretty much the exact same plot, much better written script with much better dialogue, and they could have been much better films than they ended up being. It was just honestly, you just had George in place writing his first draft of these scripts and bringing them to set, and nobody would tell him, "Hey, maybe this dialogue is terrible," because everyone around him treated him like he was some sort of god. Nobody would ever fight back. Nobody would argue with him. There's stories of, people that had encounters with him during that time. There was somebody who was working in the effects shop,
Mhm.
and they were doing something, and he was like, "Well, you know what? I mean, why would we do it that way? We could make 2 or 3 of these things, 2 or 3 of these props if we just kind of, we just did it a different way." And so he was like, "This is what I'm going to use my initiative. I'm going to save some costs, and I'm going to make multiple ones of these things, and that way, if they get broken, whatever." And so he did whatever it was with this prop, and then when George came to see it, he was like, "Oh, well, you said you wanted this. So what we did, what I did was I made this, but then, I just changed this one little thing. I made it out of different material. And so we have a couple of extras here. We're able to make some, some backups or whatever." And basically, Lucas just fired him on the spot
Yeah, I think
because
that
he
was the
didn't
guy.
do exactly what he wanted.
I think that was a guy that was like being groomed to be like the head of like the effects department or something.
Yeah, yeah. It was an experienced guy. He had been there for a while. I don't remember exactly who it was, but there's been a couple of stories like that of people saying just like that he was basically a tyrant, and the only people that were still around were just yes men, and that's frustrating. It's
I
so
remember
frustrating.
I remember every movie that came out, I thought the title was going to be The Clone Wars, and not a single one of them was. And every time I was confused.
Now there was the Gendy Tartakovsky animated series,
Amazing.
which was fantastic.
That's the only
That
Clone
was
Wars that
so well
matters.
done. Yes, and they decanonized it, but it's so well done. I'm
Yep.
glad I have my DVDs that I bought when that originally came out.
It's canon right here.
Yeah, yeah,
In my
that
heart.
is so well done, and a lot of talent, a lot of work went into that, and it had a great story.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot we had another super chat. I said Deadman had 2 super chats earlier, and I didn't read the
what
second
was
one.
the other one?
That's okay. It's a real brief one. Deadman for $4.99. Again, thank you for your support, Deadman. Appreciate it. It says, "Sean, thanks for showing me where to watch Quantum Leap for free."
You did it, Sean.
How did I do it?
I don't know.
That's
I assume that's what QL stands for. It's Quantum Leap.
that other stream. Somebody in the chat mentioned that it was on Pluto.
There's a lot of great stuff on Pluto.
If you
Yeah,
can
I mean,
get the stupid app to work.
Yeah, there's some fun channels and streaming stuff in there. Honestly, the real game changer has been Tubi. That is an amazingly good service.
Hmm.
We found ourselves watching stuff on there all the time.
Yep.
At the end, because of stuff like Tubi, it started making all these other streamers start thinking about changing their business model because they want to make money too.
Imagine
Hey,
that.
you know what? If Disney Plus were free with ads, I'd be fine with it.
Hmm.
As I don't mind getting a service free with ads.
Yeah, it would only
You want
help
me to
them.
pay for it,
They can
and
even
it still
stick,
has ads.
not that I wanted, but they could much more easily stick all of their propaganda into shows that way.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe at this point, maybe it's good if I go and do some shout outs.
Yeah.
Oh, but we have the thing where it crashed in the middle. So I probably missed a
Yeah,
lot of
let's
people,
see. Well,
unfortunately.
let's see. I still have the
I'll just go over Empress and M, Phantom Monk, Mura Rockstraw, Istaphobos, Phantom Monk, I think I said, Empress and M, Eric4934, Urkel DeStefano, Istaphobos, I think I said, Jonathan Conroy, Phantom Monk, Empress and M, I think I said, Caleb Levine, The Dead Man, Empress and M, I think I said, Joshua Calkins, Sebrew1138, James Caserta, Echo 3, RSN 40, Phantom Monkey, Echo 3, RSN 40. Jonathan Conroy says, good stream, guys. Thanks. Yeah, I think it was fun. We had that surprise guest with Vex. And actually, it was nice that Sean could make it too, because Sean's been working a lot of nights. So I'm happy you were able to make it tonight.
Yep. Let's see.
Yeah.
Maybe I might have a few more here for the list.
If you have them, go
I
ahead.
know that Smilex joined us earlier. I also saw MattCat83. Remember them being in the chat. I'm looking here at let's see, Kevo1961, Senpai76. Let's see, Pyromancer, Eraserhead, J1776Q. I think I might be caught up here with Coffee Crew Mocha. Thanks for joining us tonight. I think you got Steve Mod 52, and then I think you got most of the newer ones. RSN 40. Yep.
One last observation about that crap show. While watching it, I was like, why does this feel like a more terrible holiday special? And then the holograms showed up, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yes, the hologram. It's at least it wasn't some old guy sitting around getting off to watching Diane Carroll in a
exactly,
VR headset.
exactly.
Close enough.
I've always found that Star Wars Holiday Special it's fascinating.
Oh, it is perversely amusing in just a strange way, very strange way.
I can only imagine the amount of sort of allegedly recreational drugs that need to be involved in making such a special.
Yeah. I don't hate it. People always go on about how terrible it is, and all I can think is, what did you expect from a 70s variety show?
Oh yeah, no,
that had like no source material.
It's
It had
incredibly
B. Arthur
camp.
in it.
Yeah.
It's quite funny if you have some humor about it and can laugh at just how absurd it is. Yeah,
I remember the first time I sat with a friend and we watched it, and we were just, it's a strange feeling. We're kind of looking at each other like it's almost hard to believe that you're watching what you're watching, but that's what makes it so fascinating. It's hard. You can't look away.
And it's Harvey Korman.
Yeah, it's just listen, of course I don't consider it very serious Star Wars, but there's something about it that I don't hate, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess on that very positive note, is there anything you want to plug, Professor? I
Okay.
guess not. Sean, is there anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, I got comic books. Go get my comic books.
Make
Link-
sure you leave the link for them. Yeah, Sean has great comic books. He's doing all these kind of special offers. Should check it out.
No,
Oh,
sorry. I want to plug my dripping nose. That's what I need to.
Oh, okay. It's okay. I was just saying that you know, what was I saying?
yeah, is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah.
Oh, is there anything you want to plug? Yeah.
Because
Well,
we
Vex
are
isn't
about
here
to pass
anymore,
out.
so.
I understood what you meant by that. She'll
No,
probably like
no.
that comment.
Yeah, no, we're no, don't really have anything coming up. As always, enjoy hanging out on the Mr. Crown Alliance on Sundays, and he's going to be he and the gang are going to be reviewing the ongoing disaster that is Skeleton Crew, probably just about every Wednesday. So yeah, and Price was on the show there on Wednesday too.
Yeah, they did a pretty good show there. It was a fun gathering. But yeah, I guess I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. We do this twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11:45 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I guess this is probably a good time for us to sort of bow out. Just for tonight, of course.
Yes. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.